Alright guys, we are live and today we've got the Dutch Grand Prix. It's going to be very, very exciting indeed with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen lining up alongside each other, starting right at the front on the front row of the grid. And yeah, we've got a very exciting race to look forward to today. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and the race starts in exactly 30 minutes. I'll be doing like a pre-build up thing talking about all of the race strategies and stuff. We've hit 40 likes, which is cool. Um, and yeah, so let's get right into it. So the possible strategies for today are going from the soft tires to the hard tires, or the medium tires to the hard tires. And then the remaining strategies, and then the other strategy, which is the two-stopper, will be doing the softs and then the mediums and then the softs again. But that is the slowest strategy of them all. So most likely everyone will be going for a one-stop. And the tyre drop-off period is around lap 26. So lap 26 is when the soft tyres will completely die off and they will have to pit because they'll just fall off a cliff and be way too slow. So lap 26 is the slowest time, is the latest time someone on softs can pit, but we'll wait and see what tyres everyone decides to choose. And yeah, hello Kies, Rickus, Giano Trulli, David, One Arcade, and Cristiano. Um, have you also, we've heard about the Verstappen Norris strat. I don't know what strat you're talking about, so yeah, if you could let me know, then be sure to let me know. Zero Nerd, Mr. Fish Ninja, and the Citron. Nice to see you joining the streams. Perez is starting from the pits. Okay, so Perez and Latifi are both starting from the pits because Perez got an engine change. So he was going to start P16, I think, anyway. So Red Bull decided, well, if he's going to start P16, he might as well just start P20 and get a brand new engine. So that's what they decided to do. They've given him a brand new engine, and that's why he's starting from the pits. Latifi is starting from the pits because Williams decided to change his front wing because he crashed yesterday in qualifying. They decided to change his front wing so he can get better race pace, and yeah. Hello, Marcus Vesterlund and Jen Stinger and Imagine. I don't know how to say that properly. The atmosphere is full of the Orange Army fans, and hopefully they will be going absolutely crazy throughout the entire race. Hello, Ivan, as well. So we have some information from Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff said yesterday that he will be trying a split strategy to try and overtake Max Verstappen and finish 1-2. I'll try and get the exact quote from you for you guys in a second. Kiesa said, basically, Norris said when Verstappen discussed his strat, where Verstappen holds everyone up and Norris... Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen that, but I think it's definitely a possibility, because the track is rather narrow. So if you just drive in the middle of the track, no one can get past you. Yeah. What's up, Achlan? And D3 SV5 Daniel Ricciardo, Seb Vettel. Max drove a little. Yeah, let's hope Perez can get another good recovery drive, but it's going to be a lot harder like it was obviously in Sakir last year. It was rather easy to overtake with 3 massive straights and barely any corners and a lot of DRS. And this circuit, it has 2 DRS zones, but the track is very narrow, so Perez is going to have to pull off something special if he is gonna go get a podium or some good points. Pierre Gasly is definitely in with a chance of a podium, because if he does get a good race start, he can get in front of Bottas and maybe even Hamilton, and that will be very, very good for him, because we know how the Mercedes aren't good at overtaking, especially on this street circuit. Mercedes aren't good at overtaking anyway, and then on this street circuit it's going to get even worse. So if Gasly can get ahead of the Mercedes, there's a very good chance he will stay ahead of the Mercedes for a long while now. And yeah, best snack for the race, I think getting some popcorn will definitely be a good idea, because the battle between Verstappen and Hamilton is going to be very, very interesting indeed. Not only on lap 1, the entire race, the strategy they're going to decide and do, and we'll see if Max Verstappen can hold on for the Orange Army. And yeah. Other things to talk about: Antonio Giovinazzi, he's starting P7. Amazing qualifying for him today. Yesterday, sorry. It was just outstanding performance. His seat was at risk, and he's just decided to pull it out the bag and go P7 in the Alfa Romeo. Great job from his part. And yeah, you got a 700 grams of M&Ms and you're just working through them. Yeah, I mean, M&Ms are actually quite nice, so I would recommend doing that. Perez is starting from the pits. Okay, he had an engine change, so that is why he is starting from the pits. I might actually put that up on screen at some point because quite a lot of people are going to ask that. But Red Bull decided if he's going to start P16, he might as well just start P20 and have a brand new engine. So that's what they've done. Hello, Donald. And yeah, I will go get the quote from Toto Wolff exactly. But Toto Wolff is being quite confident in saying that the Mercedes are going to finish 1-2 this weekend. So we'll wait and see if Mercedes can spoil Max Verstappen's Orange Army fun, you know? Yeah. What's my prediction for the GP? I would say we will get a Red Bull, Mercedes, and Red Bull. Mercedes, Red Bull, and AlphaTauri podium. That's my prediction. I think Pierre Gasly could definitely get a podium. I think he can this weekend. So that's my prediction. Hello, Joy. Yeah, I'm just gonna go get the quote. I'll be like 10 seconds. Oh, never mind. I'm literally immediately back. Rickus, can you be a mod? I think I gave someone else a mod yesterday, so I think if we get one new mod each weekend, that'll be all right. So I think next weekend you could probably get one, and it's only next week anyway. So yeah, I'll give you a mod next week. The track is narrow. Is there any chance of a recovery drive from Vettel, Norris, and Perez? Well, that's the issue. You know, we have to see if there's overtaking potential. Of course, turn 3, the track is very wide at turn 3, so there's a chance. But it's all going to be very, very difficult indeed. Any kind of overtaking. The only saving grace that there is on this circuit is that there are 2 DRS zones, and yeah, so that's the only helpful thing on this circuit. That can help overtaking. Other than that, it's rather difficult. Perez may get a very good strategy. We'll have to wait and see which tyres he decides to choose, because if they pick the correct tyres, then there's a very good chance that Perez could jump a bunch of people and not have to overtake them because they pick the correct strategy, you know? Yeah. Alright, so let's get this team radios up and the Toto Wolff quote. You've been watching the F3 races and overtaking seems possible on the banked corners, but F1 cars are a lot wider, so it seems 50-50 depending on drivers. That is a good point, because well, if you're on the inside, if you're on the outside of a banked corner, and the driver on the inside isn't being so respectful, you get a tiny little tap and you're flying into a wall at 200 miles an hour. And with 6 Gs of G-force, that is not going to be fun. There's also quite a high chance of a safety car today because, as you saw yesterday, George Russell crashed for no apparent reason. He just pushed a bit too hard. What else? Nicholas Levy also had a tiny little mistake, just put a tiny little wheel on the grass and also crashed out. So tiny little mistakes can cause big crashes here. So there is a very good chance that there could be a safety car or a red flag, in fact. Yeah, would you put background music in your streams? I don't think we need background music, to be honest, because I've talked for like the majority of the thing anyway. And yeah, I mean, background music, it would be nice, but I don't know, would it clutter it up the stream a bit too much? I don't know. How would the pit stops influence the result? Well, this is it, really. At the front, it's a 2-on-1 battle at the front because there's 2 Mercedes and 1 Red Bull. But the Mercedes have the strategic advantage over Red Bull, but Max Verstappen also has the pace advantage. So we'll have to see which advantage is better and who can better utilize it. So there's that. How do you change the dark background on the website? If you press switch side at the bottom of the website, beneath where it says Perez, it will go dark. So there's that. Yeah, 20-ish minutes to go, guys. Yeah, sorry for not telling you how long there is left. But there is a lot of Orange fans today. What happened to Perez? He has changed his engine, so that is why he's took a grid penalty and he's starting P20. And yeah, there's that. And Ferrari will be third in the constructors. I think that's actually quite likely considering Leclerc and Sainz are P5 and 6. And the McLarens are P10 and P13, and on a circuit you can't overtake, there's a good chance that the Ferraris will stay up there and actually progress and go on to do a good job in this race and score some solid points. Obviously, there's still 72 laps of this circuit, guys. And yeah, can I put a timer till the race start? I don't know how to set up a timer, and that's the issue. So if I do know how to, I'll find out how to set up a timer for next weekend's race. Yeah, so I'll do that because always planning to improve the stream, you know. So thanks for the suggestion. I'll do that for next week's stream. And I am streaming, by the way, for the Italian Grand Prix as well. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, then be sure to do so. It will very much help out. All right. Perez, that's a good advantage. In fact, Perez has a very good strategic advantage that he can manage his tyres so well compared to everyone else, that he may be able to go on the hard tyres and stay on the tyres for like maybe 50, 60 laps and then just go on the soft right at the end to like finish out the stint, really. So yeah. All right, let me just change. The cars are currently on the grid now, so yeah. On the starting grid, I'm just changing the title for the stream so everyone knows. Starting grid. There we go, done. Does Vettel have any podium chances? Unfortunately, I don't think so. Starting down in P15, unless there's a massive crash up ahead, I don't think Vettel has many podium chances. Hello, MCTG. Nice to see that you're back. So, yeah, that is true, Siddharth. One mistake and you are on the gravel and spinning around, and you know, so it's very, very a dangerous circuit. Well, not dangerous as in you're going to have like an injury, but dangerous as in a tiny little mistake can cause you to have a massive crash. And yeah. All right. Yeah, the Aston Martin weren't doing too good, so they could get a points finish with Stroll in P12, and maybe Vettel if he does a good job on the opening lap. But it's going to be rather difficult. Hamilton will be very, very aggressive on this first circuit, and on this first lap, sorry. Verstappen will do his best to get an amazing start and try and hold off Lewis Hamilton, but I think Max Verstappen has a slight edge here. He has the pace advantage and he has all of the fans. It's basically been a 3-day party. Christian Horner, in fact, said it's been like a festival for 3 days. So yeah, it's just been an absolute party for the Dutch fans for Max Verstappen, and yeah. The top 10 all qualified on soft tyre in Q2, so starting on that compound. Can they stay on it long enough to execute the race? Well, Pirelli say you can drive around about 25 to 20 to 30 laps on those soft tyres, depending on how well you manage them. And then you can drive on the hard tyres for around 50 or so laps. So that does account for the entire race doing 25 and then 50 laps. But it will be very touch and go. So if you have to push if you're stuck in someone's dirty air and your tyres start overheating, that's going to negatively affect you later down into the race. And yeah. So that's what it is. This is round 13 of 22, the 13th race of the Formula One season at Zandvoort today. And we have 17 minutes till we go lights out. And the next two races, well, this race and the next race, are going to be the most like crazy races for the fans. The Tifosi in Italy and the Orange Army in the Netherlands today are absolutely epic. And yeah. So let's see, who else have we got to talk about? We have got Lando Norris. Lando Norris, can he make a recovery drive and maybe get up and past Ricciardo and into the points, you know? Because Lando has been performing rather well. Last 3 races haven't had the best luck and haven't had the best performances either. And yeah, it is sunny in Zandvoort. There is no rain, so no flashbacks back to Spa from last week. And yeah, Verstappen must be feeling like Ferrari at Monza. That is very true. That's actually a very good description of how Verstappen's feeling, in fact. And yeah, Monza's also going to be a very good race. Lando, though, let's see what he can do, because he has very good racecraft, as we all know. Can hold off people, battle people safely and not crash into them. But this is a tight and twisty circuit, and it's going to push every single driver to the limits. There is 15 minutes till lights out now, so 1-5 minutes, and we will be away racing. And yeah. All right, so it's going to be rather interesting. to see what is actually going to happen on the opening lap here, because we haven't had a race here in 35 years, and 35 years of no racing. Well, this is the first time basically Formula One has come to this circuit, so it's going to be, because if right, okay, let me just, so in France in 2018, that was the first time they've ever raced at that circuit. And on the opening lap, there was a lot of mayhem. Like Vettel crashed into Bottas, Alonso got spun out. I think Ocon also got caught out. Pierre Gasly was out as well. So that was the first time there was a race at a new circuit in F1 back in 2018, and this is what's going to happen again this year. We haven't raced at the circuit for 35 years. None of the drivers have driven here in Formula One, so lap one can definitely be very, very crazy indeed. Yeah, all right. Can anyone remind me what the penalty was for Mazepin blocking Vettel? Okay, so in fact, Vettel did a very gentleman thing yesterday. So there was 5 cars lined up right at the end here. So if you guys look at the cursor, this is where Vettel, like, the incident happened, I think, or it was either here. Oh no, the incident happened here. And there were 5 cars lined up in this tiny little space, and Vettel was coming at 200 kilometers an hour, and all of the other cars were just stuck there, having nowhere to go. So Vettel told the stewards that it would be unfair to give Schumacher and Mazepin a penalty because, well, they couldn't have done anything else. So Vettel basically told it would be unfair if you gave them a penalty because they had nothing else to do. They were just stuck there and nothing else was possible. So that was very gentlemanly of Vettel. Very good job from him. And yeah, that's why everyone likes Vettel. Isn't trying to get Schumacher and Mazepin a penalty. I mean, it's not going to benefit him much even if they do. And yeah, that's about it. All right, guys. Also, we have a post-race show for the first time in this channel's history. So, and it's being held on the Avli app. So there's a link to it in the description, and there's also a link to it in the pinned comment on the pinned chat on the chat section. So if you guys haven't downloaded the app, then be sure to do so. And yeah, just type into the App Store Avli. And yeah, be sure to download that. But Vettel definitely has the best character. The issue between Mazepin and Schumacher is that they were all queuing up to start their flying laps in qualifying yesterday in Q1. But there was just too much traffic in the way. And yeah, they blocked Vettel by accident. So that's what happened there. I want to participate in the post-race show, but I don't want to risk waking up my parents. Well, I think if you can plug in headphones into your phone, then that should be all right, because you can just whisper quietly and that should be fine, really. And yeah, Mazepin is just delusional as usual. All right. This is looking good though. So the last winner of the Zandvoort Grand Prix was Niki Lauda in 1985, a very long time ago. But that was a very good race from Niki, and obviously he's a legend of Formula One. And yeah, we'll see who the next race winner is. And I am sponsored by Avli, but I'm not saying this, like, they haven't told me that we're only going to give you the money if you say nice stuff. So yeah. And top 3 predictions. Yeah, well, all of you guys let me know your top 3 predictions, and I will also let you know mine. I've already said it, but I'll say it again. So Verstappen P1, Lewis Hamilton P2, and Pierre Gasly P3. That is my predictions for the top 3, because I definitely think Pierre Gasly has a chance of getting a podium. 10 minutes now till lights out, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so, and if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that, and also do download the Avli app. Yeah. Regarding the incident with Vettel and the Haas cars, what's the point of giving the Haas cars a penalty anyway? Yep, true enough, really. They're starting P17 and 18. If they got the penalty, they would probably start P19 and 20. Nothing new, really. And yeah, do a poll for the top 3 prediction. I can't do a poll because I can't make all of the different possibilities for the top 3, really. So there's that. I also just do want to let you know, guys, if you haven't realised, Sergio Perez is starting from the pit lane because he has got an engine change. Red Bull decided that if he was going to start P16, he might as well just take a penalty and a new engine and then go start in last place, because that's going to help him out later down the season, having a new engine and extra horsepower, especially at Monza. Having extra horsepower is definitely going to help. And Latifi is also starting in the pits because the Williams decided to change his front nose cone. So there is that. And yeah, remember when Verstappen's initials were Ves instead of Ver? In fact, I don't remember that because I only started watching Formula 1 in 2018. Quite wild, isn't it? In fact, last race was my 2 year, 2 years since I watched my first Formula 1 race. So I watched 2018 Spa. That was my first race that I ever watched. And then it's last weekend was 2 years since my first F1 race, which was rather cool. Yeah, so this is a quote from Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff has said that... Okay, so let me read this out. Certainly will be pitting one, undercutting and massive pressure, and then leaving the other out and finishing 1-2, he added with a smile. So Toto Wolff basically just said, oh, we're going to finish first and second and just add a bunch of add a bunch of pressure to Max Verstappen by using strategy and try and finish 1-2. So there's that. And there is 9 minutes left till the race begins. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We're quite close to 100. And also do subscribe. All right, so... it's good that the Mercedes have 2 cars against Max Verstappen because it's going to help out with strategy and opportunities to win the race, especially if there's a safety car. There's definitely a good chance of a safety car with all of the crashes that were happening. So, who knows what will happen. Rooting for Perez, definitely. Perez he'll do his best and he'll probably use his time management skills to his utmost of his ability, but it's going to be very difficult to overtake around this circuit. So any overtakes that do happen, maybe through the strategy, and we all know Red Bull is quite good at strategy. So yeah, here we go then. Now just 8 minutes till lights out, and yeah, looking forward to this race. All right, so here we go. Sky Sports have decided to forget my login, so I'm here chilling while you travel on the train. Well, that's cool. Nice to see that you guys are here. Strategy number 1 for Merc, take out Max. Well, Lewis Hamilton, I think he said the first lap will be very fun. That's what he said. In fact, I think that was a pretty exact quote. So, what is Lewis Hamilton's definition of fun? Is it taking out Max Verstappen in front of his home fans? Is that Lewis Hamilton's definition of fun? Who knows? Turn 1 predictions. I have literally no clue of turn 1 predictions, guys, because I have no experience. I don't know how many cars are going to crash here. But I would say maybe we'll get 1 broken front wing, probably. And yeah, that'll be about it. Or maybe everyone decides to go cautious, yeah. Yeah, hopefully fun does mean fair racing. And yeah, it'll just be lovely to see everyone have a fair race, and yeah. All right, so race starting now in 7 minutes time. I'm literally counting down. I can't wait for this to start now. And just see the Orange Army cheer. And yeah. Both Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton have just given each other a thumbs up. And yeah, now they're just going back into their cars, getting ready, strapped in, getting the final checks done and putting the fuel in and stuff, and that's it really. That's an ambition prediction if you think there's only 1 broken front wing in T1, yeah. Well, I do expect these drivers to try and not crash and ruin the race, but everyone's going to be trying and making up positions, especially Perez, Vettel, Norris. All of these drivers will be trying and making up as many positions as possible. Yeah. Mr. Boy, I'd like to correct you on that. Mazepin did qualify last. It's just that Latifi and Perez got penalties after. So Mazepin was still the slowest. Yeah, I don't think anyone can be slower than Mazepin, What do you use to see the cars on track? It's just this cool website. So there is that. And I think this race is going to be a bit boring. Well, who knows? The strategic element of this race is going to be rather interesting. I know that. We don't know if we're going to see much on-track action because it's the first time we've been here in 36 years, I think. So, wait and see now what happens. Yeah, it's very much the race is going to be amazing or trash. But but this is why we watch Formula One, you know, the complete unpredictability of what happens. Yeah, potatoes are laps faster than Mazepin. All right. And yeah, all right. So there's things. I'm just gonna let you guys know of the key things that you should be watching, what like looking out for in this race, because I might miss out on them when I start commentating. So obviously Verstappen and Hamilton on the first lap, because um well, we all know the championship contenders are going to be rather fierce on the first lap, trying not to let anyone else get ahead. And then Gasly will definitely be trying to get a podium and get ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. And then we have Antonio Giovinazzi in P7. He's usually very good on the opening lap. I think last year, every single race, he gained a position on the opening lap, Antonio Giovinazzi. So if he can do that again, who knows, you know? Maybe Antonio Giovinazzi up to P4 by the end of lap number 1. That could be very exciting. And then, obviously, Sergio Perez and Nicholas Latifi on recovery drives. Well, no, Sergio Perez on a recovery drive. And there are safety cars that are quite lightly. Thank you, Chicken Y'all. And yeah, the race starts in 4 minutes exactly. Fanny Hermione. If you join the Discord, I'll send you the link to the website. I can't say it out because I just don't know. It just doesn't work like that. Can you link it in the description? I'll do that later, right? Because we're gonna have to start commentating. If you join the Discord, there'll be someone that can give you the link. You know, these names, man, lol. On my way home from holiday, 3-hour trip. Well, strap yourselves in, mate, because 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and we're going racing, and it's gonna be good. Gonna be real good. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna take a drink so I can start commentating on lap number 1 properly. Yeah. Can Perez get a podium? I don't think Perez can. Being down in P20, it's going to be difficult for him to get a podium. We'll wait and see, though, because who knows? Maybe lap 1 will be very, very crazy. And yeah. All right, if the Ferraris will finish in the top 2 and the Alphas after and the AlphaTauris, the Tifosi will go crazy. I think they will. You know what? Sure, I'll just add more to my so yeah counter, because why not? +6. There we go. All right, Perez is definitely not getting a podium this race. Yeah, I don't think so. It's rather difficult to overtake around this circuit. Can Giovinazzi get a podium? I mean, if Giovinazzi pulls off an amazing opening lap, then he has a sort of a chance of getting a podium, but it's going to be very difficult indeed. So guys, there are 26,000 Dutch fans at the circuit today, and only 98% of them are using bicycles to get there. So the Netherlands, very green country indeed. And getting onto the race circuit now, 4.2 kilometers, 2.6 miles, 2 DRS zones, one on the start finish straight, and one going down the middle sector. And then we have an elevation change of 9 meters, so quite a bit of elevation. Turn 1 is going to be very exciting indeed on the opening lap. There's been action there in the past when we did race here back before in Formula 1, so we'll hope to see action there once again. Turn 3 was also a very interesting corner. The best line, in fact, is going around the outside rather than the inside. So usually the Formula 1 drivers are on the inside to take the fastest line around the corner, but at turn 3 at Zandvoort, it's actually the better line to go around the outside, so that's very weird. And then obviously we have the final corner where there's a lot of banking indeed. You know, there's the G-force is around 6 Gs. Oh my god, I need to plug in my laptop. Oh right, I need to plug in my laptop. Yeah, 1 second guys, I just need to, because I don't want the stream to just die because my laptop is about to, right, there we go, plugged it in. So, what a recovery drive. So here we go now, guys. We have Lewis Hamilton, the champion, 7-time world champion, most race wins in Formula 1. Can he overtake Max Verstappen? And then we have Valtteri Bottas in starting P3, the runner-up in effect, been in Lewis Hamilton's shadow ever since he started in Mercedes in 2017. And then we have the young challenger Max Verstappen. and he's been performing absolutely amazingly this season, on form every single race. And this is it, 3 drivers and 1 race winner. We'll see who can take the race lead and the championship lead as well, because if Verstappen gets P1 and Hamilton P2, Verstappen will regain the lead of the championship, and if Hamilton wins today's race, then Hamilton will extend his lead even further. Currently there is the drivers are on the formation lap right now, so I'm going to change that in the title, and the gap between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen is 3 points. Max Verstappen is on 199.5 points, and Lewis Hamilton is on 202.5 points. So 3-point gap between the drivers, and yeah. So it's going to be pretty interesting. The lap thing is not fully on screen. I think it says race. It says CE not started rather than race not started, but I think it should be fine. It says 0 out of 72, so that's fine. And also, guys, if Max Verstappen does win the race, I will definitely play Supermax. All right, let's see if the drivers, they are on the formation lap now. Yep, they're just driving around, and we'll see the current speeds they're at and what gears they're in and stuff. All right, so I'll let you know of the tyre situation. Everyone is starting on the softs except for George Russell, Norris, Kubica, Mazepin and Latifi, who are starting on mediums, and then Sergio Perez is going for the odd strategy here and starting off on the hard tyres. We'll wait and see if that pays off for him, or if there's an early safety car, then the guys on the soft tyres will get out of the soft tyres and maybe go into different tyres. Yeah, just all very interesting to see. And yeah, the driver's now currently on the formation lap, just waiting, trying to get as much tyre temperature, brake temperature, because any extra brake temperature and tyre temperature you can get is going to benefit you on lap 1, and lap 1 is quite possibly the most important lap of the race. So there's that. The race is starting in literally like 30 seconds or so. The drivers are just doing the formation lap now, and then we'll be underway for racing in a matter of seconds or minutes. Well, no, a second in fact. Yep, so Max Verstappen now just 50 kilometers an hour. They'll be doing their final burnouts and then parking up on the grid, and yeah, we'll be ready to go racing in a few seconds now. Why have I got a bad feeling? Well, who knows, maybe that bad feeling will come true, or maybe it won't. Latifi and Perez still starting in the pits. Max Verstappen has reached his grid slot. He's stopped on the grid slot. So is Hamilton. So is Bottas. Now Gasly has as well. Sainz and Leclerc both stop as well. Now we're just waiting for everyone from P10 and below to stop on the grid, and we will go racing in a matter of seconds now. So here we go. Stroll has also stopped on the grid. So has Norris. Now just Tsunoda, Vettel, Kubica, Schumacher and Mazepin, and we will be lights out and away we go. Alright guys, can we get some, I don't know, hype in the chat or something? I have no idea. Everyone has stopped on the grid. Mazepin has just stopped, so in 5 seconds the lights shall be turning on, and yeah, Perez is last because he got an engine change, and that means he has got an engine penalty. All right, so it's lights out and away we go. Max Verstappen has got a better start than Lewis Hamilton. He's currently got higher top speed, and he has pulled away massively going into turn 1. There's no chance that Hamilton can overtake him. Amazing start from Alonso. He gains 1 position. Ricciardo, the big loser here, loses out 2 positions. Verstappen has still got a good lead over Hamilton, already out of the DRS zone, in fact, and Hamilton is getting pressure behind from Valtteri Bottas. So Bottas is pushing Hamilton to the absolute limit here on lap number 1, and Verstappen has got a good, safe lead over everyone else. All right, so here we go. It's looking rather interesting here. Alonso once again has gained 2 positions. Antonio Giovinazzi had a very good track record of gaining positions on race starts. Has lost 3 positions this race start. He was started 7th, now down to 10th. And then we have right at the back of the field, Perez has already overtaken Latifi, and Mazepin has overtaken Schumacher. But that is it, lap number 1, and Max Verstappen is 1.5 seconds away from Lewis Hamilton already. So Max Verstappen is flying. He's got all of the fans from his home Dutch crowd roaring him on, and he's 2 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton already. Wow. Latifi and Perez both started in the pit lane, so that's why they're so far behind. And Norris and Vettel are looking to have Norris and Stroll are having a very close battle indeed, going down the main straight. Norris is in the DRS, tucked in. Unfortunately, Stroll's got a higher top speed, so Norris will not be able to make a move. But this is looking very strong from Verstappen here. 2 seconds advantage over Lewis Hamilton already. Like, wow. Yeah, so Daniel Ricciardo has got the highest top speed, so the Mercedes engine is looking strong here. So Hamilton will still have another chance to overtake Verstappen, because the Mercedes have better top speeds compared to the Red Bulls and all of the other cars. So that's going to help them going down the straights, and obviously Hamilton will get the DRS once it is there. All right, we have team radio from Max Verstappen. I'm just going to play that. Here we go.
Just display 8 when you can. Display 8 when you can.
Alright, so I think they were just changing some of the settings there, and I think changing those settings definitely worked, because Verstappen's got an absolutely electric start. Now, Gasly's already pulled away from both Ferraris, so currently the order is Verstappen, both Mercedes, AlphaTauri, both Ferraris, both Alpines. So it's very much driver dependent here. I mean, car dependent, sorry, because you can see both of the teams' drivers being stuck close together. We have team radio from George Russell. I'm going to play that. Here we go.
Ricciardo's waving his arm.
Daniel Ricciardo's waving his arm, so I don't know, something must be wrong with Ricciardo's car maybe. He did lose quite a few positions on the race start. Maybe there was something wrong with his car. We'll have to wait and see on that. Giovinazzi, though, the big loser on lap number 1, went from 7th place all the way down to 10th place. And yeah, so now by the looks of it, everyone has settled into the race properly, and Verstappen has got a good lead over Hamilton, but Hamilton is keeping him checked. So Verstappen set the fastest lap, but Hamilton is not like falling away from him. So it's close here, and yeah, it is definitely VTEC kicking in for Max Verstappen, with all of the purple sectors, in fact. And yeah, Alpine number 7 and 8, they will be getting some good points today. And yeah, issue. Okay, so Daniel Ricciardo has an issue. He was smoking in 9th place, and he is... yeah, so Danny Rick was smoking, so I think it might have been his brakes, or it must have been his engine. There must have been an issue with Danny Rick's car, and that's why he lost a lot of positions. Because if you imagine you're starting a Formula 1 race, and you're all unsettled because your engine's going wrong or something. So there's that. We have team radio from George Russell once again, so I'm going to play that.
Ricciardo is smoking and dropping oil.
Alright, Danny Rick's dropping oil, guys. That's going to be... if Danny Rick's dropping oil over the circuit, that's going to be a rather dangerous for all of the drivers, to be honest. So we'll see if the FIA decide to call a red flag or something, but it's a rather big whoopsie from McLaren's part. Danny Rick, for the second time in the season, outqualifies Lando Norris, and then he gets horrible luck with his engine. And yeah, oil spill. We'll wait and see if it's a significant amount of oil or not, but any amount of oil is very dangerous for Formula 1 cars, and yeah. And in fact, guys, the top speed difference between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton's top speed is 295 kilometers an hour, whereas Max Verstappen's top speed is 283. So the top speed difference between the two drivers is rather high, and that is going to help Lewis Hamilton close down the gap. So Lewis Hamilton has pulled away from Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas is no longer is in any like position to overtake Hamilton. We have team radios from Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris. I'm going to play Lando Norris first, and then I'm going to play Lewis Hamilton. Here we go then.
Suggest strat 7.
Okay, they're suggesting strat 7, and if my memory serves me correctly, strat 7 is the strategy where they go maximum attack. So there we go, guys. Lando Norris is going maximum attack. He's currently in P13 trying to overtake Lance Stroll, and it's proving out to be rather difficult because Stroll has got DRS on Russell, and that is why Norris is not getting past. And if you look at it, all three of them have all got Mercedes engines, so it's going to be rather difficult. So Mick Schumacher is into the pits. We'll wait and see why he's done that, why he's pitted. By the looks of it, he's got some damage. He's got damage with Nikita Mazepin, Mick Schumacher. So Nikita Mazepin has basically given Mick Schumacher damage, which is absolutely horrible. I'm going to play the Lewis Hamilton team radio now, so let's listen to this.
Okay, copy.
Wait, let's just listen to that again, so let's see what he actually said.
Okay, copy.
All right, so Lewis Hamilton has said Max Verstappen is pushing. So that's going to be rather important. Oh, scenario 7 is definitely the maximum attack mode, yeah. But what Mazepin did to Schumacher is not very nice. He's basically cut him off and then broke his front wing. So Mazepin's now one full pit stop behind. I mean, Schumacher's one full pit stop behind Mazepin. So there is that. And all right, so Sergio Perez is trying to overtake Mazepin right now. We'll see if Mazepin pulls off the same dirty tactics. And yeah, all right. The low contrast on some of the text this week, I can barely make out some of the grey on the black sectors. Yes, all right. You know what? I'll try and fix that. Give me a second. If my laptop doesn't lag too much, I can fix it. So carrying on, he has swapped from the soft. So Schumacher's now on the hard tyres. And he might even try and go to the end of the race. 67 laps is going to be rather difficult, but who knows what will happen. And yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do that because my laptop is lagging too much. So sorry about that. There is no red flag, so yeah. But looking at this, they're 5 laps into the race, and Verstappen is nearly about to lap Mick Schumacher. So it's not looking good for Mick Schumacher today. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. I stream every single week and would very much appreciate the support. And if you guys haven't subscribed as well, be sure to do that. And yeah, all right. So how long on the first pits can Perez squeeze on the hards? So Pirelli say that you can get around 200. Pirelli say you can get around 50 laps on the hard tires. And yeah, if you can get 50 laps or so. So if Pirelli say you can get 50, Sergio Perez can probably get 60 laps on the hards. And yeah, we have team radio from Esteban Ocon, so I'm just going to play this. Here we go.
Okay, just watch turn 9 exit, giving the rears a hard time there.
All right, so turn 9 has been overheating Esteban Ocon's rear tyres. And yeah, that's been that. So Esteban Ocon trying to keep it cautious out of turn 9. And looking by the wind as well, turn 9 is not helping the wind isn't helping Esteban Ocon or any of the drivers, in fact, of that. So yeah, all right. Can Norris get into the top 6? Looking at how little overtaking has been going on, I don't think it will be possible. Perez still hasn't overtaken Mazepin just yet. So if the Red Bull can't overtake Nikita Mazepin, then I think overtaking is going to be rather difficult, Is Merck planning to go long? By the looks of it, Merck is planning to go long because Max Verstappen was pushing, of course, and then Lewis Hamilton came on the radio saying Max is pushing really hard, and then the Mercedes pit crew were damaging. Were saying don't push too hard, and Lewis Hamilton has just come on the radio now and he has said these tyres are going to struggle to keep this pace. So Lewis Hamilton saying that it's going to be rather difficult to keep up with the same pace here. He is falling away from Max Verstappen, in fact. 3.1 seconds is the gap. Before it was 2 seconds. So Verstappen is extending the gap, and he is pulling away quicker and quicker. Yeah. All right. And also, guys, we do have a post-race show today of the Dutch Grand Prix on the Avli app, and I've linked that in the description and in the pinned comment, so be sure to go download that app. It will very much help out the channel, and it's a new upcoming app, and it might be the next big thing, so yeah, we have team radio from Valtteri Bottas. I'm going to play that. It might be some strategy news, so watch out, listen out for this.
Just play the little game.
All right, there we go. So, oops, I hit my microphone accidentally. So I think someone asked if Mercedes are going long, and yeah, that's what they're doing. Valtteri Bottas has just said we're going long and play it safe and conserve the tires. So Mercedes are playing the strategy now. Let Max Verstappen pull away, and we'll have extra safe tires at the end of the race, and so we can overtake him at the end. So it is going long. That is true. Mick Schumacher has left the chat. He has just been lapped. Sergio Perez is now into the pits as well. So let's see what he's doing. I'll let you guys know what he's done, and I will also make Mick Schumacher appear back up on the map. All right. So I'll let you know what tires Perez is on because we need to know, because I don't know why he's pit, because he was on the hard tires. I think it might have been Mazepin again. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But I will let you know why he's pit. Yeah, so Perez is pitting P19, and looking at the gap at the front, guys, the gap is extending very, very big. Gasly is pulled away from Leclerc, and Leclerc is also pulled away from Sainz. So the gap, there is no DRS train at this circuit, at the front at least. There's a sort of DRS train forming behind Alonso. So choo-choo. So Alonso, Ocon, Ricciardo, Giovinazzi in a DRS train, and then behind Russell, there's Russell, Stroll, Norris, Tsunoda, Vettel, in a DRS train. So there's that. We have team radio from Aston Martin from Lance Stroll. So I'm going to play that. Here we go.
Copy that. The rears are going up now. Rears are reaching peaks.
All right, so the rear tires, they're having issues. They're having issues with tire temperature here. Stroll was also struggling, and so is Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon is stuck behind his teammate Fernando Alonso, and Stroll is stuck behind George Russell. So there's that. We have team radio from Fernando Alonso as well, so we'll see what Fernando Alonso has to say about the tire temperature. And Max isn't losing power; he's just pulling away. In fact, Lewis Hamilton has set the fastest lap of the race, which is something to keep an eye on because Hamilton just said the tires aren't going to stay up. So Hamilton was just like, "Bono, my tires are dead." Also, have a fastest lap, because why not? So I'm going to play the Fernando Alonso team radio, and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, got Esteban 0.7 behind.
Yeah, but I don't want to get close to Sainz.
Okay, understood.
All right, so Alonso's playing the strategic game here. He's like, I don't want to get close to Sainz because if I do, then I will, what will I do? I'll overheat my tires, and that's the issue. When will I link the thing? All right, I'll just do it now, in fact. I'll just put it in the description right at the bottom. There we go. Copy. All right. So Vettel is also pit, so we'll wait and see why Vettel is pit. But Perez is pit, and he's going to assist Verstappen. So I think Red Bull are completely sacrificing Perez here. All right. Fanny Hermione, I put it in the description. It's right at the bottom below the tags. Perez has just set fastest lap of the race on the medium tyres, so he is doing a very good job there. Vettel takes an early pit stop, goes on to hards after only 10 laps on the soft tyres. So Vettel is going to try and stretch 62 laps on those hard tyres. Pirelli said you could only do 50 laps on them, and Vettel is like, nah, I'm just not going to listen to you, Pirelli, and go 62 laps on those hard tyres. There are 62 laps remaining, soccer and football, and yeah. And there could be a potential of random punches because, the banking definitely does increase the load on the tyres, and yeah. So there is that. There's definitely a high chance of punches because the load on the tyres is a lot higher because of the banking, and that's maybe why we're getting tyre wear. So Hamilton now has started to push again. He set a purple first sector and also set a fastest lap before, and now he's closed the gap to Verstappen by 0.3 of a second. We have team ready from Carlos Sainz, so I'm going to play that. There haven't been any safety cars just yet, and there are 61 laps left.
Alternate was a bit too high energy, mid corner. For info, charge lap time 67.
All right, so everyone is playing the tire management game here, guys. So Carlos Sainz has been told he's going too fast, guys. He's been going too fast. You're in a Formula 1 race and you're getting told you're going too fast. This is rather odd. So the tire wear is looking rather bad at this circuit. Everyone is managing tires. Alonso's deciding not to catch up to Sainz because he doesn't want to damage his tires. So, yeah, there have been no incidents. Everyone is still driving. All 20 drivers are still in the race. And by the looks of it, there's just a lot of tire wear. And yeah, that's what's currently going on. Verstappen, Hamilton still has the fastest first sector. In fact, Hamilton still has the fastest first sector. So Hamilton still has got pace in those soft tyres. We'll wait and see if he can get anything out of that. He's still hovering the gap around 3 seconds to Max Verstappen. So nothing has happened there. But Vettel is definitely pit for the long game. And, yeah, there's that. Does anyone have a puncher? No one has a puncher just yet. And yeah. All right. So Verstappen is slowly losing grip. Hamilton's catching. I think that might be a possibility, but Hamilton is also losing grip at the same time. So both drivers losing grip. It's just to see who loses grip more. So there's that. Also, guys, 3,400 viewers, and we've only got 200 likes. So if you guys haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It very much will help out the channel, and also do subscribe. It will totally help out the stream. And do download the Avli link so you can attend the post-race show and you can chat with me and loads of other F1 fans live on stream. And yeah, actually we're quite close to hitting 300 likes as well, so be sure to do that. And yeah, so getting back to the race now, gap still hovering around 3 seconds for Verstappen and Hamilton. I think it's going to stay that way until they pit, but it won't be long till they pit now, because the Pirelli said you could go maximum 25 laps on those soft tyres, and currently Bottas and Hamilton have done 17 laps on the soft tyres, and Max Verstappen has done 16. So Max Verstappen used a fresh set, whereas Hamilton and Bottas are using an old set. But still, nevertheless, both of those 16 laps, they'll be coming to the end of their lifetime very, very soon. And yeah, and who has asked? Chop Sway has asked, do Red Bull have a higher downforce setting? And yes, they do. So Max Verstappen has a lower top speed compared to the Mercedes, but he does have more downforce, so he's quicker through the corners, but that also means he'll get more tyre wear. So, we'll wait and see what happens. Wow, the likes went up really, really quick. We was on 230 and we're already at 380. Wow, that's dead quick. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone. So Sergio Perez has still got fastest lap of the race. He's currently on the medium tyres, and we'll wait and see if he can do anything now. He's trying to overtake Mazepin in a few laps, and we'll see if Mazepin plays it dirty again, like he did with Mick. So, yeah. Latifi did overtake Mazepin, in fact. I missed it before, but Latifi pulled off an amazing move on Mazepin around the outside of turn 1. So that was very, very good indeed for Nicholas Latifi, and he's made a great move on Mazepin. So let's see if Perez can also do the same. Yeah, all right. So looking at the tyres, looking at the gap at the front again, it is now, the gap has been extended, so Max Verstappen is pulling away from Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis Hamilton is falling back. Lewis Hamilton's lap times are actually slower than Valtteri Bottas's lap times here, guys. So looks like Hamilton's tyres are struggling a lot compared to Verstappen and Bottas. We have team radio from Lando Norris, so I'm going to play that. Here we go.
Okay, Lando, so we still think plan B. Be patient, our time will come.
All right, so Lando and Mercedes have, Lando and McLaren have decided to go for a plan B. So, and he said, be patient, and there's more time to come. So, by the looks of it, that will probably be another long strategy. So they're going to go, rather long. So everyone's either going to pit really early, like Seb Vettel, Sergio Perez and Mick Schumacher, and pit really early and try and get as many laps done on their hard tyres as possible, whereas everyone else is trying to stretch their stints. And yeah, we don't know what's the correct strategy, because we haven't been at this circuit for the last 35 years, so there is that. And yeah, I need to increase that so yeah counter, because I say the word yeah way too many times, but that's what you get when you're watching my stream. So here we go. Sergio Perez has just overtaken Nikita Mazespin going to second to last corner. It was a fairly clean move, just went down the inside and made sure that Mazepin couldn't do anything about it. Mazepin does have DRS, so he is gaining on Perez, in fact, going down the start finish straight, but he is not close enough to pull off a move. So good overtake from Perez, and now Perez has to chase down Nicholas Latifi and overtake him. 4 seconds is the gap to him, and we'll see when he can catch him up. Good job from Checo, though. And yeah. All right, so Hamilton has set another quickest first sector. Don't know how he's doing this, but the first sector, Hamilton's finding a lot of time compared to Max. A tenth quicker than Max, 2 tenths quicker than Bottas, and 3 tenths quicker than Gasly, and nearly half a second just in the first sector, quicker than Leclerc, So Hamilton has got some magic tricks, for the first sector. 7-time world champion obviously will. We have George Russell's team radio, so I'm going to play that, and I will put on the top speed as well.
Gap at 0.8, still on plan A.
Brakes. Tyres are okay, just manager.
Copy. Brakes are fine. You can go forwards 1% if you need, and a mid-17 is good pace if we can maintain this, mid-17.
The acceleration feels awful when I go 59.
Up at 0.9, you can go rearwards on the brakes.
All right, so they were just managing brake temperatures. We often talk about the tires overheating when we're in dirty air conditions, but the brakes also have overheat in the dirty air conditions as well. So George Russell was talking about just managing the brake temperatures and the brake bias, and the team said a 17.5 will be a good lap time. And guess what, George Russell has just put in? George Russell has just put in a 17.550. So George Russell doing exactly what William asked him to do. Very good job from him. Seb pitted early, and Ferrari, another 5 or 6 laps, and Ferrari will be pitting. And the highest top speed is Nicholas Latifi with a top speed of 326, but that is because he got DRS and a slipstream from Sergio Perez, so there is that. Flynn Hudson, there's a link right at the bottom of my description, so yeah, don't spam the chat please. And yeah, all right, and looking at that, looking at this, the gap back at the front again, everyone is just getting further and further apart. So Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton have a gap of 3.5 seconds. The gap between Bottas and Hamilton is 3.5 seconds. So everyone is just extending the gap, and we have team radio from Valtteri Bottas, so I'm just going to play that. Here we go.
Okay, Valtteri, so at this pace, we're not going to interact with the leaders.
Alright, so Mercedes have basically told him, Bottas, you're just too slow, maybe pick up the pace a bit. And yeah, so we were talking at the start of the race, it's a 2-on-1 fight from Max Verstappen to Lewis Hamilton, because they have Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton on the Mercedes side and just Max Verstappen at the front. But now Valtteri Bottas is just too slow, and now it's just a 1-on-1 straight fight between the two championship rivals. You know, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen just going at it, and we'll wait and see who comes out on top. You know, Verstappen now coming up on traffic of Vettel and Mazepin. Vettel is also quite close to overtaking Mazepin, so Mazepin just has shocking pace, to be completely honest. And yeah, more like go fast or no seat for 2022. Very true, Zero Nerd. Yeah, very true. All right, so yeah, all right. Oh wow, 100 Danish kroners. Thank you for the donation, C. Paul. Appreciate it. What did I miss? Well, you missed that Perez's amazing move on Mazepin and Latifi's amazing move on Mazepin. And you missed that Vettel did an early pit stop and so did Perez. But other than that, there hasn't been much going on. You missed Mazepin, in fact, doing a really dirty thing on Mick Schumacher. But that's Mazepin, that's to be expected, you know. But thank you for the donation. I very much do appreciate it. And yeah, just helping out the channel and the stream so much. Thank you for all of the support. It is £11 as well, yeah. Charles Leclerc Team Radio, I'm going to play this. Here we go.
I have quite a bit of space in pocket.
Understood? Gasly,
Around 5 tenths.
copy.
All right, so Leclerc has said that he can go 5 tenths quicker if he wanted to, and the gap between Leclerc and Gasly is only two seconds. So 4 laps of Charles Leclerc pushing, and you know, Charles Leclerc could catch Pierre Gasly and maybe potentially get that P4 and steal it away from him. You know, so it's looking good for Charles Leclerc. He says he's got 5 tenths in the pocket, and we'll wait and see if he can do that. Sergio Perez has now just overtaken Nicholas Latifi. He did that 1 lap before, and he's just overtaken Robert Kubica going into turn number 3. A very risky overtaking opportunity indeed from Sergio Perez, but Sergio Perez decided to commit and just go for it. All right, Lewis Hamilton is boxed, guys, so box for Lewis Hamilton. He's going to be going for the undercut strategy. Max Verstappen is going to be going full send on this lap to try and get past and have like a quick in-lap. And yeah, all right, we have team radio from Nikita Mazespin, and I'll let you know what's happening on the situation about Max Verstappen. All right, here we go.
Vettel 2 seconds back, he is for position. Behind Vettel is Verstappen, 2 behind, and that is for blue. So Vettel will soon get a blue.
Yep, so they're just talking about just blue flags and stuff. So Hamilton is out of the pits. I'll let you know how long that pit stop was. But he said, Lewis Hamilton said, I'm on the limit on these tyres. And then he goes and pits into the pits. And we'll see if Red Bull decide to go for the overcut and see if they can actually make it through and stay ahead of Lewis Hamilton. The gap previous to pitting was 3.5 seconds. And now we'll see if Verstappen decides to box and come into the pits, you know, because this will be a very critical part of the race, you know. And yeah, Mercedes have decided to undercut Hamilton, and Verstappen is also into the pits. So Verstappen is into the pits. Hamilton sets a 1 second quicker middle sector compared to Max Verstappen. So there is a definite chance that Lewis Hamilton could undercut Max Verstappen here. So Max Verstappen is now coming out of the pits. Lewis Hamilton coming down the main straight. We'll wait and see who comes out. Who comes out in front? Hamilton says a purple third sector as well, and Verstappen, by the looks of it, is out ahead of Lewis Hamilton just by a tiny little margin now, 2.5 seconds. So Hamilton closed the gap by one second through the undercut, and now Hamilton has warmed up tyres, whereas Max Verstappen has cold tyres. So Hamilton's on the front foot, Verstappen's on the back foot, and we'll wait and see what can happen. The gap has already gone down 0.3 of a second in 2 corners. So wait and see for this interesting battle, guys. All right, I'm gonna check the gap between the two drivers. 1.8 seconds now. Hamilton setting purple first sector as well. So Verstappen tyres are not up to temperature whatsoever, and Hamilton is taking full advantage of this. We'll see what tyres both of them on. Both drivers go on to medium tyres. Interesting strategy there. We'll see if the medium tyres can get to the end of the race. There's only 50 laps remaining. We have team radio from Sergio Perez. I'm going to play that, so here we go.
What's the pace of the leaders?
A few pit stops going on. I'll get back to you.
All right, so Perez just asked what pace he needs to do, and team will say what in a bit. So, yeah, that's what it is, and the gap has reduced once again. Lewis Hamilton now is the fastest lap of the race. 1.8 seconds is the gap between the two drivers, and Hamilton is pushing absolutely like on the limit. You can see him, he's correcting for oversteer and going all the way up to the edge of the curb, and this is what he's trying to do to overtake Max Verstappen. But Max Verstappen is completely untouchable here at today's race. 1.7 seconds is the gap between the two drivers, and hopefully he can hopefully we can get a side-by-side battle, you know. Also, guys, we're quite close to hitting 500 likes. If you haven't hit, we've got 4,000 viewers and only 500 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed, also be sure to do that. And for the post-race show, click the Avli link in the description or in the comments. In the pinned chat. And yeah. All right, so getting back to the stream now. Hamilton is still pushing. Another purple lap from him, but he has not been able to overtake. He's not been able to catch up to Max Verstappen because Max Verstappen is setting green sectors. So, you know, who knows what will happen now. The next few drivers will start pitting. We'll see what Valtteri Bottas can do. Maybe he's going to try and stick it out for as long as possible and hold up Max Verstappen. Because we all know Mercedes basically just don't care about Valtteri Bottas at this point. So, Valtteri Bottas may just be a moving chicane for Max Verstappen that Mercedes can just deploy at any moment. We have team radio from Lewis Hamilton. Let's see what he decides to say. Here we go.
So you're doing a good job, Lewis. This is all part of the plan.
All right, so Mercedes, by the looks of it, have got a plan. All right, so this is interesting. So Hamilton is still behind Verstappen, and that is still part of the plan. Interesting strategy. So maybe they're going to be going for a 2-stop race, or maybe they're going to be going for a 1-stop race. We'll have to wait and see. Pirelli are also not sure. The official Pirelli guys don't know if they're going to go for a 1-stopper or a 2-stopper. It's going to be interesting, though. And yeah. Bottas on a kamikaze mission. I don't know if Bottas is on a kamikaze mission, but he's about to lap Seb Vettel, and I know that. So he's just lapped Seb Vettel. Mazepin will also be getting blue flags in a matter of seconds now. And Latifi is the next driver to pit, so we'll see if Latifi can do that. Perez doing an amazing recovery drive. He also overtakes Yuki Tsunoda, so now up into P14, and he's also pit, so he's the highest up. So Sergio Perez doing a really good job, and good recovery drive from him, but he still needs to gain even more positions if he wants to get any sort of points for the Red Bull crew. And yeah. Bottas will probably block Max, letting Lewis catch. That's probably the strategy that Mercedes are hoping will happen. So the gap between Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas is 5.2 seconds. We'll see if that goes down. It probably will. Yep, it's going down like instantly as I'm talking, in fact. So, you know, yeah, that's what's going on. And yeah, 565 likes, cool. Well, maybe we could hit some more. How many laps there are? 48 laps remaining. There are 72 laps in total, so we're approaching a third of the way through the race. And yeah. All right. Is there anything else? Any more team radios? Nope. All right. I'm just gonna drink some water, otherwise my throat is gonna die. But we've done 24 laps, and yeah. All right. So, as I predicted, guys, the gap between Bottas and Verstappen is falling rapidly, like rapidly. I think I said about a minute ago the gap was 5 seconds. The gap is now 4 seconds. So Verstappen is catching Bottas very quickly, and by the looks of it, it will be a moving chicane. Verstappen's currently in traffic as well, so that's not helping him catch up to Bottas. Mazepin lets him by. Mazepin is now holding up Hamilton, and Vettel will let Verstappen by now, and yeah. The gap between the two drivers is 1.5 seconds, and yeah, we'll wait and see what can happen there. But I think this is what it is. Mercedes are deciding to, yeah, I will. Thanks, Fionn. I'll put him on a timeout. Okay, so Mercedes are going to use Bottas as a chicane, a moving chicane, and I think that's literally for certain. Bottas is not going quickly anywhere, and he's just driving around at a slowly pace, like, oh yeah, Verstappen, catch up to me, so then Lewis can overtake you. So that's what the strategy that Mercedes are playing. It's a rather dirty strategy. They're basically using Bottas as a wingman, but you know, it is what it is. We have team radio from Danny Rick, and also, guys, Danny Rick did have an issue earlier on in the race. He had oil coming out of his car, so we'll wait and see if there's any updates on that. So I'm just going to play the team radio.
Daniel, can you do plan A target lap?
Yes. Yep.
Copy, thank you.
So both McLaren and both McLarens, Norris and Ricciardo, both on plan A, and yeah. All right. So Bottas now 3.7 seconds away from Max Verstappen. We'll see if the gap comes down. Maybe Verstappen's... Okay, the gap between Verstappen and Hamilton is coming down to 1.2 seconds. It is very, very close indeed between the two drivers. It'll be... maybe Hamilton will have DRS. There are 2 DRS zones on this circuit, guys. And we know what will happen. And yeah. The McLaren... Why has the McLaren not been a rocket ship? I have no idea. I think it's because McLaren are usually good at circuits that have higher top speed and aren't street circuits. But they were good at Monaco, so I don't exactly know why McLaren have no pace this weekend. But yeah, Hamilton is closing up on Max Verstappen. Hamilton has the quickest lap of the race, and Bottas is coming up quick. It's Max. Can we chill with the spam? There we go. It's not a dirty tactic, it's racing. Well, you know, yeah, I've muted him, so no worries about that. 2.6 seconds is the gap between Bottas and Hamilton now. So, yeah, we'll wait and see if that is true, you know? And, yeah. So, yeah, mate, all of these spammers, can we just stop with the spammers, guys? And Walter Zikalala, you said when Alonso blocked Lewis, it was okay. Well, if you know what, Alonso and Lewis are on different teams, but Bottas is blocking Verstappen for Lewis's sake. So, yeah, I'm just gonna ban all of these guys. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah. And also, if you are a moderator, then MCTG or Game of Faction King, if you're watching, then do help out and just ban these guys. Alright, so getting back to the stream, Verstappen is basically closed up to Bottas now, and we'll wait and see if Bottas does hold up Verstappen, or if Verstappen can just make an easy quick move with DRS on Valtteri Bottas. So 1.5 seconds is a gap from Verstappen to Bottas, and 1.5 seconds is a gap from Verstappen to Hamilton. So both drivers are so close. And we'll wait and see what goes down now. So coming out of the pits is Antonio Giovinazzi, George Russell, and Stroll. Giovinazzi just gets in the way of Lewis Hamilton, so they'll be getting blue flags rather quickly. But that won't help Hamilton. That won't help Hamilton's cause. Giovinazzi and Russell are traffic in Hamilton's case, and Hamilton has fell back. He's lost 1.5 seconds of time because of traffic, and Verstappen is getting closer and closer to overtaking Valtteri Bottas now. And yeah. Alright, so traffic isn't helping out. So Giovinazzi now will be traffic for Lewis Hamilton, but Verstappen is close now. Verstappen has DRS on Valtteri Bottas going into the second DRS zone of the lap. So they both come out the corner, try and get the traction as smooth as possible. Verstappen is 7/10 behind. He has a lower top speed, but he does have DRS, so we'll wait and see if Verstappen can make a move on Bottas. No, he can't. Going into the final corner now with this very steep banking indeed. We'll see if that is helpful to let Verstappen overtake Valtteri Bottas. Coming through the final corner now, Verstappen is again 7/10 behind Valtteri Bottas, and can he make a move? That is the question. 7/10 is the gap. He opens up DRS and he is slipstreaming Valtteri Bottas, but there is no avail. Only 5/10, and he cannot get any closer to Valtteri Bottas to try and make a move. Team radio from Max Verstappen's part, so I'm going to play this. Here we go.
How much did I gain last lap?
1.2. 1.2.
So Verstappen is gaining quickly on Bottas, but the issue is Verstappen doesn't have enough top speed to overtake Bottas, and I think that's what Mercedes' strategy was. They were, let's hold him up because he can't overtake him, he can't overtake us because he doesn't have enough top speed, and then Hamilton will come up behind us and overtake him. So that is the strategy from Mercedes' part. Now the gap is 5/10 of a second going into the DRS zone, so maybe getting closer for Max Verstappen is going to help him out. Verstappen will probably use lots of battery, and we have team radio from Valtteri Bottas, so let's listen to this. Are Mercedes telling him to just hold him up as much as possible? Well, let's find out.
So this is for the race win, so you're defending. I'll leave you to it.
So Valtteri Bottas has just been told you're defending for the race win. And yeah, so that's what he's doing now. 1/10 is the second. So Verstappen has DRS now going into the turn 1, and he's got slipstream as well. He's alongside Valtteri Bottas. He overtakes him on the straight. Going into turn 1, can he hold the lead, or will Valtteri go around the outside? Verstappen swings around and into turn 1, Verstappen has the lead, and Hamilton is now behind Bottas. Will Mercedes use team orders and let Hamilton get by? Hamilton also does get by, so by the looks of it, has been a bit of team orders there. Both Verstappen and Hamilton get let by Valtteri Bottas. Good job from Verstappen to overtake him, and then Hamilton has been let by, I think, by team orders. We have team radio from Max Verstappen once again. Let's listen to it.
If and when the opportunity arises, the overtake button is available. Overtake button is available.
So yeah, they just got told, Verstappen got told, you can use the overtake button, bro. And he's just went full send and just overtaken Valtteri Bottas. So Verstappen is still in the lead. And yeah, all right. By the looks of it, that should be pretty good. Verstappen now coming up on traffic of Kubica. So I think the only thing that's stopping Max Verstappen now from winning this race, well, actually, there's quite a lot of things. But there are 42 laps remaining. There's 30 laps. We've done 30 laps of racing, and there are 42 laps remaining of the race. And, you know, Bottas was fighting for a seat, and he couldn't hold up Max Verstappen for more than one lap, you know. So who knows what happens to Valtteri Bottas next year. You want Perez and Vettel, Norris points. Well, if you look at it, Norris is in the points just now, but Norris is still yet to pit. And Sergio Perez is in the points as well. Amazing recovery drive. I've missed out on this, in fact. But Perez has overtaken Latifi, Vettel, Russell, Kubica, Giovinazzi, and Tsunoda. So very good driving from Sergio Perez's part. He's made loads of overtakes. I haven't even noticed him, but he's just been picking away at all of the drivers, now up into P10. So Sergio Perez, amazing job from him. Bottas is now just pit, and he comes out on the medium tyres as well. So a lot of half the grid is on mediums and the other half is on hards. So we'll wait and see which strategy pays off the best. And yeah, which strategy is best till the end of the race, you know. Pierre Gasly did lose 4th place, but that is only because Pierre Gasly pits. So when Charles Leclerc pits, Pierre Gasly will still come out just ahead of him. Carlos Sainz has just pitted now. He goes on to hard tyres. So yeah, it's very much half and half between the grid. Half of the drivers are on mediums, and the other half are on hards. Who knows which is the correct one? Yeah. All right. So, yeah, no worries, X44 gamers. Just don't spam too much. Yeah, and I am Duck, also don't spam too much. Russell in P10. Russell is pit, and the drivers ahead of him yet to pit. Oh, Russell, in fact, makes an overtake on Robert Kubica. Amazing overtake from him, in fact. He is just going into turn 2. Another risky place to overtake like Sergio Perez did, but he pulls it off safely. So, yeah. And do you think Verstappen can pull it off? I think 1.5 seconds is the gap between Verstappen and Hamilton now. And if all goes to plan, they will carry on just driving along at the same pace. And Verstappen will win the race, but I think Hamilton and Mercedes will have some sort of Mercedes strategy trick under their sleeve. Is that the right saying? Behind their sleeve or something. Right, Valtteri Bottas team radio. I'm going to play that.
Okay, so you're medium to the end.
All right, so Mercedes are saying that you can go on the medium tires all the way to the end of the race. So so if they think that you can get the medium tires all the way to the end of the race, so 40 laps is what they think they can do on medium tires. Maybe Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Verstappen will have to pit at the end of the race. Who knows? Up their sleeves are saying. All right, okay. And yeah, so Bottas, we were talking about this. Bottas on the team radio, they said that Bottas is deciding for the race win. And I think the front two, I think Verstappen and Hamilton, as pointed out by, I think someone pointed out, I forgot now, it's just left the chat because there's been so many people in the chat, but Verstappen and Hamilton might have to pit again. So if Verstappen and Hamilton pit again, then Bottas will still have the race lead because it takes around 24 seconds to do a pit stop here, and Bottas is 23 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. So there is definitely a chance that Valtteri Bottas can get this race win, who knows what can happen. And yeah, all right, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We're on 4.2k viewers and only 600 likes. That doesn't exactly add up. And if you haven't subscribed as well, be sure to do so. And the post-race show is on the Avli app, so be sure to download that. It's a very cool app. And yeah, you guys can talk to me and also lots of other Formula 1 fans, So yeah, be sure to download the app AVLI. And yeah, getting back to the race now, Alonso is the next driver to pit. So the only driver that hasn't pit yet is Charles Leclerc and Robert Kubica and Nikita Mazespin. Everyone else has already pit. Oh, Lando Norris as well. So those 4 drivers haven't pit yet. Charles Leclerc doing an amazing job. He's done 36 laps on those soft tyres. And he's just been managing them so perfectly. So good job from Charles Leclerc. Amazing, really. And yeah, all right, so George Russell has got a 5-second time penalty. So he got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So by the looks of it, George Russell didn't hit the pit limiter button at the correct time. So that's what's happened there. And that's the issue. So George Russell got a 5-second time penalty for that. So he will lose, by the looks of it, 2 positions going down into P15. And yeah, he's just... Yeah, that's the issue there. Leclerc, as I was saying, did 36 laps. He did almost half the race on those soft tyres, Charles Leclerc. So he's just pitting now, coming out on medium tyres as well. Oh no, Leclerc comes out on hard tyres. Okay, so interesting strategy from Ferrari. They're playing it safe here. We have team radio from Max Verstappen, so I'm going to play that. Here we go.
Hamilton last lap, 14.5, gap 1.7.
So the gap is 1.7 between Verstappen and Hamilton. And in fact, it's come down. It's gone down to 1.4. So Verstappen is still in the fight here. And Hamilton is also still in the fight. There is definitely a chance of on-track overtaking. And there's also a chance of strategic overtaking with the pit stops, of course. Because by the looks of it, Verstappen and Hamilton won't have enough tyres to get to the end of the race, So there is that. Can Perez take P4 from Leclerc? I don't know. I think Perez will probably still have to make another pit stop as well. So he will fall back down the order because he pitted very, very early indeed. But yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. And yeah, Leclerc does finally pit. Perez in P8. As this is what I was saying, guys. I haven't been keeping track of it because we've been looking at the battle at the front. But Perez is just slowly but surely just making his way through the field one by one, picking people off. There are 37 laps remaining of the race, so we're basically halfway through the race now. And yeah, we have Valtteri Bottas team radio, so I'm just going to play that. Here we go. Oops.
So don't need to kill the tyres, but we need to close to his window.
All right, so that's what they're doing. Yeah, so my suspicions were correct. Valtteri Bottas has said you don't need to kill the tyres, so don't push too hard, but you need to catch up. So just in case Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton pit, then you'll come out ahead of them. So Valtteri Bottas is now on a mission to try and catch up to Lewis Hamilton. The gap now is 24 seconds. He needs to get that gap down just a bit more safe, so around 20 seconds or so. He's set green first sector, so Valtteri Bottas is doing the good thing, and I like good driving, I guess. And he is catching up to the drivers at the front, you know. And yeah, that has been that. And Bottas has heaps of traffic. That is fair enough. I mean, he's got Kubica and then he's got Stroll and Russell. He's just overtaken Tsunoda now, but I mean, traffic can also help you in a way. If you get DRS off them, then that can also help you. Max Verstappen is about to lap Sergio Perez, guys. That is basically a definition of absolutely destroying your teammate. Max Verstappen is in P1, Sergio Perez is in P8, and within a few seconds, within a few laps, Sergio Perez will be lapped by his teammate Max Verstappen. And yeah. You're watching this on your phone and this is so delayed. Well, I'm on a 2-second delay to YouTube, or 2 or 3 second delay. So there is that. I think someone has spun. So it says someone has spun. I don't know exactly who it is, but it might be Vettel. Vettel's lost 2 positions. We'll wait and see if it was him. And yeah, all right. But Vettel has DRS on Latifi, in fact, and he does make a. He tries to get into the slipstream, but I don't think he'll be close enough to make an actual overtake going into turn 1. It's not being the best advantage you get from DRS, you know. I don't know who's spun yet. I'll let you know. And yeah, there is no red flag. It's just green flag running. Yeah, I think it still says. So yeah. Oh, we're only 4 likes away from 700. If we could hit that, that would be rather cool. So Lando Norris and Robert Kubica, both of the drivers still yet to pit. Both the drivers done more than half the race on just the medium tyres. So any information going out to the rest of the teams that you can do 36 laps on medium tyres. And also, guys, it was Vettel that spun, I can confirm. And I think it was Vettel or Stroll. It says Aston Martin, so I'm going to assume it was one of the two. And yeah, that's been that. Yeah, it's Vettel spun at turn 3. And yeah, he tried to overtake Kubica, and that was the issue there. So that happened there. But that is very important information to the rest of the teams. You can do more than half the race on medium tyres. So Mercedes is going to be using that to their advantage. And blue flags for Perez. Perez is lapped by his teammate. So yeah, rip to Perez. The Red Bull second driver just has a lot of bad luck, you know. And yeah, can I block the spammers? Yeah, if they do come up, then I will block them. But yeah. All right. So looking just at an overall picture of the race now, Perez, amazing job from the start. He's done a really good recovery drive. Max Verstappen holding a good advantage, a strong lead over Lewis Hamilton. 3 seconds is the gap between the two drivers. Very good job from him. And yeah, all right. We have team radio from Lewis Hamilton, in fact, so I'm just going to play that. Here we go.
So you've got Perez ahead. It won't be long, Lewis.
All right, so they're talking about Perez ahead, and Lewis Hamilton goes into the pits, guys. Lewis Hamilton pits, so they are going for the 2-stop strategy, and they're trying to undercut Max Verstappen and go to the end of the race. So Hamilton pits, and yeah, all right. What was I going to say? Oh my god, I just forgot. Never mind. So Hamilton comes out on a used set of medium tyres, and there are 33 laps remaining, so Hamilton will try and get to the end of the race on those. We'll see if Verstappen now decides to pit and come out ahead of Lewis Hamilton, but I think the undercut might be a bit too dangerous, I mean a bit too powerful in fact, for Red Bull to risk it, you know. Verstappen is pushing, he's got green middle sector, but you know, it's never you're never safe with the undercut, because the undercut is so strong, especially when there's a lot of tyre wear, and this circuit has a lot of tyre wear, like a lot. And so here we go. Does Max Verstappen go into the pits? Let's see now. He also goes into the pits, so we'll see now if the Red Bull pit crew can pull off a quick pit stop and make sure that Max Verstappen comes out ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So the gap between the two drivers is 24 seconds, and it is coming down rapidly as Max Verstappen is coming out of the pit lane. And yeah, we'll wait and see what happens now. Verstappen coming out, and now Hamilton side by side. Oh no, this is very, very close indeed between both drivers. Verstappen comes out, he disables the pit lane out into turn 1, and here we go. Verstappen has maintained his lead of 3 seconds, but once again, Hamilton has warmed up tyres and Max Verstappen doesn't. Also, guys, by the way, all of the greyed out drivers, those are drivers that have been lapped. So, yeah, Perez has been unlapped, obviously, because the drivers have pit. Lewis Hamilton sets the purple first sector. Okay, interesting strategy here. So Max Verstappen is on the hard tyres. Lewis Hamilton's on the mediums. So who knows what will happen there. I'm going to play Lewis Hamilton team radio. So yeah, let's just play that. There we go. I think Lewis Hamilton got a bit of traffic on his outlap. And that is what he's complaining about, because that might have been what held him up. So yeah, not looking good for Lewis Hamilton, but that is that. And Lewis Hamilton sets the quickest first sector, but the middle sector is quickest by Max Verstappen. So Max Verstappen is flying. There are 32 laps remaining, and we have completed 40 laps of the race. Yeah. Hamilton sets the quickest, fastest lap, but I think Verstappen will be very quick to fire back and get another fastest lap back. It was also another very quick pit stop from the Red Bull crew. The Red Bull crew, as always, very good, very, very much on it on their pit stops, you know. And this is it. Max Verstappen on his home race, done a two-stopper, avoided the Mercedes strategy, and is 3 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And who knows if he can hold on for the lead of to win this race, you know. So, yeah. Alright, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We're at 4.5k viewers and haven't hit 800 likes yet. So, if you could hit 1,000 likes, that'd be very epic indeed. And yeah. Alright, this is going to be Hungary 2019 all over again. Well, who knows? Because Hamilton obviously has the quickest tyres. He's on the mediums, and he is lapping quicker than Max Verstappen in every single corner, every single sector. But Max Verstappen will have the long-term tyre advantage, because his tyres won't wear out as quickly. I will definitely play Super Max music on the last lap, and use mediums doesn't sound like a smart move indeed. The hard tyres have been lapping pretty quickly. Seb Vettel has done 30 laps on the hard tyres, and I think Sergio Perez... Oh no, I mean, Lando Norris. Can we just give Lando Norris a shout out here, guys? He's done 41 laps on the medium tyres. 41. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to play Max Verstappen team radio. Unfortunately, Antonio Giovinazzi was doing so well for the entirety of this race, but he has got a puncher. So, yeah, Antonio Giovinazzi got a puncher on those medium tyres, so maybe it's not the best idea to do that. Maybe it's not the best idea to push on those medium tyres. We'll wait and see on that. But I'm going to play Max Verstappen team radio, and Antonio Giovinazzi's got a puncher, so we'll have to watch out if anyone else gets a puncher, you know? Yeah.
Looks like a reasonable tyre on the Ferrari, yeah.
Yep, so that's what they were doing. Red Bull were getting data from the Ferrari. The Ferraris currently on their hard tyres, 8 laps for Leclerc and 11 laps for Sainz. Good data that Red Bull got off them. Norris finally does pit as I was talking, and Norris is up in P7 now. Oh, well, no, he's down into P10. We'll see where he comes out after all of the pit stops have finished. But yeah, looking at that, Lando Norris, amazing job from him. But looking at Sergio Perez, he started P20 and he is once again up into P7. Amazing recovery drive from him. Just absolutely epic, like flying the entire race, really. And yeah. All right. Now... Is there any interesting racing going on? There is racing between both McLarens. Danny Rick and Lando Norris are both just battling it out, you know. 3 to 8 tenths is the gap between the two drivers. Both McLarens. I think we'll get some team radios rather quickly saying don't hit each other, but there'll be that. Sam Green has been banned. Thank you, GamerFab. And we have team radio from Fernando Alonso, so I'm going to play that. Here we go.
Verstappen and Hamilton have boxed again. In a great position Two cars in front of you still need to stop, currently P9.
Alright. Oops.
Okay, so the leaders, they need to come through again. Not a problem?
Not a problem.
Because obviously they make us lose so much. So I don't know if there is any threat.
Yeah, so Alonso's just talking about the amount of time you lose in a blue flag. I don't know why Lando Norris is on hards. I think McLaren is just playing it as safe as possible, as safe as humanly possible, you know. But maybe McLaren just think the soft tyres don't work on their car as well. And maybe that's true, guys, because on the soft tyre runs, McLaren's in qualifying yesterday were nowhere. So maybe they've decided, oh, we weren't good on the softs in qualifying, so we'll decide to go on the hards on the race instead of the softs. So that's what happened there. But they're still having a little battle down there at McLaren. 1.2 seconds is the gap between the two drivers. And yeah, Ocon, we're having a lot of inter-teams battles here. Ocon has got DRS on Fernando Alonso. So once Hamilton gets let by Ocon and Alonso, there will be quite a lot of inter-team rivalry at Alpine and McLaren. And Ferrari, unfortunately, Sainz is quite a bit ways away from Leclerc. Leclerc's doing a good job pulling away from everyone else. And yeah, Mazepin is out. And I think, wait, is Mazepin out? I don't. 100. Oh, he is out of the race. I think he was just too slow. I don't know. It must have been some sort of issue that he's had to pit for. And also, guys, someone asked, what does 1L mean? 1L means the driver has been lapped. So Alonso has been lapped, and that's why it says 1L. And yeah, that's what that means. The gap between Verstappen and Hamilton is 0.3 of a second, and 3 seconds. Sorry, not 0.3 of a second. And yeah, just very stable gap that Max Verstappen is managing. He's driving very, very maturely indeed, Max Verstappen. Seb Vettel pits, so Vettel has done 33 laps on those hard tyres, and he decides to pit for new fresh tyres, and yeah. Alright, looking at this, Ocon, once again, is trying to overtake Alonso. They've let Hamilton get by now for both of them, and Ocon is going through the second to last corner with all of the banking. It's amazing to see all of the F1 cars go through there, all of the sparks flying through, absolutely amazing. And yeah, so Ocon now has DRS going down the start-finish straight for Fernando Alonso. He is in the slipstream, but he's not gaining enough to make an overtake. And yeah, only going to be 3 cars soon on the lead lap, and yeah, that is a good point. In fact, I think it happened in Spain last year or this year as well. That there are only 3 cars on the opening lap. So yeah, rather horrible. I think it's because the circuit is so short. It's only a 1 minute 13 lap time. That the drivers can lap everyone rather quickly. Robert Kubica, good point, in fact, Runa. Robert Kubica has done a very good job considering that he only drove in FP3 and in qualifying, and he's been able to manage those tyres and just drive around consistently without making any mistakes. We have team radio from George Russell, and yes, I'm just going to play that. Here we go.
Yes, mate, I've got a car in front of me, but only so fast I can go when he's backing me up. Yeah, I can. Talk to me on the straights.
Yep. So Russell, is getting rather annoyed at his team because the team is talking to him is in the corners. So Russell wants them to talk on the straights because obviously when you're in the corners you have to focus, you know. So there's that, and yeah. All right. So Perez is losing. Perez is on 40-lap-old mediums, and Alonso is on 13-lap-old mediums, and Alonso is caught up to Perez. So we'll see if Perez loses the position to Alonso, or if Perez is going to defend very, very strongly. And yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Does Perez give up his 7th place, which he's driven so well for throughout the entire race? Can Perez overlap Sainz? I don't think he can. Perez is still yet to make another pit stop because I don't think he'll be able to do another 25 laps on those medium tyres. Yep, the gap at the front has been extended again. Max Verstappen extends the gap by another second now. 3 seconds is the gap. Oh no, 4 seconds is the gap, sorry. And yeah. Alright. And that is that. All right, so Alonso trying to make a move on Sergio Perez, going through the final corner, has DRS and the slipstream. The rear of the car is sparking along the floor. You can see all of the sparks. And yeah, just absolutely amazing. How many subs are we on, in fact? Have we hit 8K? Because that would be very cool if we did. Oh, we have. We hit 8K quite a while ago on 8.2K. Well, if you guys haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. It will very much help out the channel. And yeah, and if you haven't liked already, be sure to do that as well. All right. Can Hamilton get past Verstappen again? I don't think he can. Hamilton does set the quickest first sector, but it's going to take a lot of long, consistent pace from Lewis Hamilton to try and overtake Max Verstappen, you know. Sergio Perez finally does pit. He comes out in, I think, P12. So Sergio Perez is on the soft tyres when everyone else around him is on the hards or the mediums, and Sergio Perez is on fresh softs. So there's that. Nikita Mazespin is out of the race because I think there was an issue with his car. And yeah, Perez is on softs because he's pitted for the second time as well. So the only drivers to do a two-stop race are Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Giovinazzi, and Vettel and Schumacher. And the only reason Vettel, Schumacher, and Giovinazzi have done it is because they've had some sort of issue at the start of the race. Hamilton is trying to close up to Max Verstappen, in fact, so don't leave just yet, because there is definitely a good chance that there'll be a good battle between Verstappen and Hamilton. Looking at this, Hamilton has gained 0.8 of a second in the last lap now, and he is closing in fast. Another quickest first sector, a quickest middle sector, and Verstappen has nothing to fight back with. Verstappen still slower than Hamilton in the first sector, and yeah, Hamilton is closing up, and who knows, really. And yeah. Alright, so only drivers that haven't been lapped yet are Sainz, Leclerc, Gasly, Bottas, Verstappen, and Hamilton. So only 6 drivers are on the lead lap. Everyone else has been lapped. Yeah. Love the channel, hate the commercials. Alright, well, sorry about that. YouTube puts in a bunch of commercials. And yeah, so, yeah. And there is an ad button here, and I press it every so often, but, yeah. Alright, so Tsunoda goes into the pits. And he is coming out down in P18. So Tsunoda not being able to manage his tyres that well. He's done 17 laps on the mediums and is still coming into pit. So the AlphaTauri not having the best tyre management, that might mean Leclerc gets to overtake Charles Leclerc gets to overtake Pierre Gasly towards the end of the race. Because the AlphaTauri is not that good on tyre management, you know. That's just the issue, you know. Because once you get to the end of the race, Leclerc's on the hard tyres, so Leclerc obviously will have better tyre life towards the end anyway. And the AlphaTauri is bad on tyres, so Leclerc definitely has a chance to steal that 4th place away from Gasly. And Gasly's best finishing position in a Toro Rosso is 3rd place, I think. Oh no, it's a race win. He won in Monza. Never mind. But yeah, tyre management is very key, and Leclerc has already gained 1 second in the time I've started talking to him, talking about him. So. Yeah, and I said yeah again. Oh well. Yeah, that's just a thing of my channel. I just say the word yeah a lot. Team radio from Lando Norris. All right, I will play that. Here we go. Lando Norris. There. Right. Oops.
Stay with Daniel. We're going to see what the pace is like.
Yeah, I'm much quicker than him at the moment. My tyres are a lot fresher.
Yep, so I think there might have been a bit of team orders down at McLaren. I'm not exactly sure. We have team radio from Yuki Tsunoda as well. Thanks, Gamer Fabschnicking. But yeah, Hamilton is closing up on Verstappen, so I'll talk about that after Tsunoda's radio. Oh, Tsunoda's also retired. Both drivers retired. Okay, so Tsunoda hasn't had an issue, but yeah. Well, he has.
No power. And we need to retire. Stop in front of the garage.
Yep, so Yuki Tsunoda has got no power, so that Honda engine is giving up early, you know, and yeah. So by the looks of it, there's no power, and he is just out of the race. Hamilton is closing up now on Verstappen. 2.6 seconds is the gap between the two drivers, and we'll see if he can catch up. Great commentating, I've subscribed. Well, thank you for the support, Rustalith. Yeah, I'm just going to take a drink because my throat is sort of hurting. I'm just going to play the Hamilton team radio while I'm doing it as well. So here we go.
They're just so fast, man.
Well, that basically sums it up. Hamilton is pushing as much as he can. And the gap is now 0.3 of a second between Hamilton and... Oh, no. The gap is 2.4 seconds, but Hamilton is 0.3 of a second quicker in the first sector, but he cannot gain any other time in the second or third sector. So Hamilton is gaining 2.3 seconds as a gap. It's gone down now from 3 seconds to 2.3. Maybe it'll continue going down, or maybe Lewis Hamilton's medium tyres will start wearing off, and Max Verstappen's harder tyres will start becoming quicker compared to the medium tyres. We'll have to wait and see. And also, guys, who is your driver of the day? So I will just point out Sergio Perez, amazing recovery drive on a circuit that you can't overtake at. He's went from last all the way up to 11th, and he has still got 20 laps to try and overtake some more drivers. Currently right on the back of Ricciardo. We have Pierre Gasly. He's been stuck in fourth place. Not stuck, he's done an amazing job in fourth place for the entire race. And then we have Max Verstappen, of course, just leading the race, avoiding every single strategy, like tactic that Mercedes throw at him, and just driving absolutely amazingly, really. So let's read the chat. So we've got a lot of Perez, and then we've got some Verstappen, and then Russell or Perez. Well, let's see. Russell's in P12. I think he started P15, so he hasn't gained that many positions. But I think that's the best you can do in a Williams, I guess. So Perez now trying to overtake Danny Rick. He's got slipstream and he's got DRS going down the main straight now. 0.6 is a gap, but he cannot get close enough from moving to turn one. And we all know Danny Rick's very late on the brakes, so it'll be unwise to try and send one down the inside. The gap at the front has gone down by another 2 seconds now. Has gone down to 2 seconds. Oh my god, wow. I think Verstappen must have made a mistake somewhere, because the gap now is 1.6 seconds. So it is getting really, really close. Norris, Norris could definitely be driver of the day. He is, he's gained, I think, 6 positions, which is quite good, but I think Perez has gained even more. And the only person to get a puncher was Antonio Giovinazzi. We have team radio from Lando Norris, in fact, so I'm going to play that. And here we go.
Okay, mate, 20 laps to go. Ocon, 3.3.
Yeah, I can see the gap. I don't need any more comps.
So Lando Norris is just trying to chase down Esteban Ocon. There is 2.4 seconds gap between Ocon and Norris, and there's 18 laps for Norris to chase him down, you know. And by the looks of it, Verstappen is getting caught up in traffic. There is Kubica and Vettel and Giovinazzi and Schumacher as well, all caught up in like a little group, basically. And Verstappen is having issue getting past that little group of traffic. So is Hamilton. So the gap has been re-extended, but it's still looking rather good for Max Verstappen. 1.7 seconds is a gap, so he's gone up. Hamilton will now have to negotiate the rest of the traffic. Verstappen is clear of traffic for probably till the end of the race now. And yeah, so now Ricciardo is trying to make... Sergio Perez makes the move stick on Ricciardo, in fact. He makes the move stick into turn 1 and then extends his lead going into turn 3. So Sergio Perez up into the points, so he's gone from pit lane to points. Sergio Perez, amazing drive from him, especially on a circuit that you cannot overtake. So I think I'll be voting Sergio Perez for driver of the day. And then, yeah. All right, so looking at the gap back at the front, Hamilton has negotiated all of the traffic, and now this is just a straight 17-lap sprint to the end of the race now. The gap is also 1.7 seconds, so if Hamilton gains a 10th every single lap, then he will overtake Verstappen by the end of the race, you know? So yeah, there's that. Also, guys, if you could hit 1,000 likes, that would be very, very cool. We've had 4,600 people watching for about the whole stream now, so very much do appreciate all of the support from you guys. And yeah, and we have a post-race show, in fact, where you guys can come on and talk to all of the fans in the chat. So if you download the Avli app, the link is in the description and in the chat message. The pinned chat message. Be sure to download that app. It's AVLI. Go into the App Store and download it. But yeah, getting back to the race now, Hamilton's tyres have fell off by the looks of it. So Hamilton has been pushing on those medium tyres for quite a while now. He's done 21 laps in total on those medium tyres, whereas Max Verstappen has done 15 on his hard tyres. And by the looks of it, the hard tyres are now quicker than Lewis Hamilton's soft medium tyres. So Hamilton's tyres are gone. By the looks of it, he might come on the radio. Oh, in fact, he's just come on the radio. So let's see what Hamilton has to say on the team radio.
Updated priority now, so we'll try and get to the end of the race on these tyres, and then we'll take something at the end for the fastest lap.
Don't race. I'm pushing to close this gap, man. Come on.
Okay, copy that, Lewis. Yeah, we're happy with what you're doing then, so let's crack on.
All right, so the team told Lewis Hamilton to back off. We'll try and just get a fastest lap point. And Lewis Hamilton is having none of it. Lewis Hamilton is like, I'm going to go full send and try and overtake Max Verstappen here. So that's what he's done. He's been putting in purple sectors, as you guys can all see, but he is still without DRS, and there's 1.7 seconds is the gap between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is giving it his absolute all, but by the looks of it, his tyres will run out very, very soon. So, yeah, that's what's going on, really. C2 according to the FIA. By the way, guys, the soft tyres are the C3s, the mediums are the C2s, and the hards are the C1s, if you guys do want to know. But yeah, Hamilton will probably come on the radio in a few laps saying his tyres are dead, and they'll just go pit for the fastest lap of the race because that's what they want, you know. And yeah, so Danny Rick did let Lando Norris by because Lando Norris was on fresher tyres. So Lando Norris has pulled away now. Sergio Perez is chasing him down. 7.2 seconds is the gap. He has 15 laps to catch him. So Sergio Perez is going to have to go half a second quicker every single lap. And by the looks of it, he is doing exactly that. So Sergio Perez has a chance to get him up into 9th place. And yeah, there are 15 laps remaining of the race now, and yeah, that's about it. I've said yeah way too many times today. Yeah, all right. So, looking at this, we have Stroll who's trying to overtake Russell, and yeah, there's that. All right, so a 13.5 on Hodge. Norris driver of the day. Well, I think Norris and Perez both deserve like a definite, like, they should be pointed out because they've made overtakes on a circuit where it's so difficult to overtake. We've seen very few overtakes all weekend, in fact. All race, sorry. So yeah. Does Leclerc have a chance to overtake Gasly? Well, as I said before, Gasly's tyres will drop off towards the end of the race because Gasly's been on those medium tyres for 33 laps and Leclerc's on hard tyres and he's only been on them for 23 laps. So by the end of the race, Leclerc's tyres will be quicker than Gasly's tyres. The gap was 7 seconds before. It's now down to 4.7 seconds. And we'll see if Leclerc can overtake Gasly, you know. But I think Perez will be driver of the day. That's what my prediction is, and we'll wait and find out. We have team radio from Lewis Hamilton, so I'm going to play that. Well, it might be.
So nothing to worry about on the PE.
All right, so Hamilton was just talking about if there was any engine issues because he felt something weird. The Mercedes team has said there's no issues with the engine. And also, by the looks of it, Hamilton has decided to back off a bit because the gap has re-extended itself down to 2.5 seconds. So Hamilton now has left a decent margin to Max Verstappen. So by the looks of it, 14 more laps for Max Verstappen to drive around Zandvoort circuit. And there could be a chance that he actually wins his home race, which will be very, very cool indeed. The Orange Army will be very, very pleased as well. Sky is trying to jinx Max Verstappen, while Sky's rather biased to Lewis Hamilton. And quite a few people will say I'm biased, but you know, I'm not a professional commentator, and Sky Sports are. So, yeah. Stroll is still trying to overtake George Russell, but he is to no avail. The difficulty in overtaking around here is so hard. He's gaining on the straights 0.2 every single time through the DRS and slipstream, but it's just rather difficult. And yeah. So he's going through the final banked corner. As you can see, there is so much sparks flying out of all of the cars. It's just so cool to see. Going down the straight now, 7/10 is the gap between Stroll and Russell. Stroll tucks into the slipstream and DRS. He gains a 10th, gains another 10th, but is not close enough to go side by side for a move into turn 1. And that's basically been the story of the entire Zandvoort race, really. They've been getting closer and closer, but not close enough to make a move. And that's been the issue. So Giovinazzi, Latifi, Vettel and Kubica have been lapped twice. Mick Schumacher has been lapped 3 times. It's not looking good for these guys. But there are 12 laps remaining till the end of the race. And yeah. All right, so we have team radio from Max Verstappen, sorry. So I'm going to play that. Here we go.
Deficits to Hamilton on the last lap were turns 1 apex and 3 entry apex. Turn 3 entry apex.
So so Verstappen is losing a small amount of time to Max Verstappen. Oh wait, I just said Verstappen is losing time to Max Verstappen. Verstappen is losing time to Lewis Hamilton in turn 1 on the apex, so he's just not having enough minimal speed. And same turn 3 really. And Lewis Hamilton has just come on the radio and he said, "These tyres are starting to drop off, man." And his gap has literally doubled. It was 1.6 seconds before, now it's 3.8 seconds, so it's even more than double, you know. And yeah, so Lewis Hamilton, his tyres have fell off. He will go and pit and get another extra lap go and get another fastest point lap. So he'll pit, get soft tyres and get fastest lap. But other than that, by the looks of it, Lewis Hamilton does not have a chance to overtake Max Verstappen for the lead of the race, you know. Also, by the way, guys, if you haven't liked and subscribed, be sure to do so. We're actually quite close to hitting 1,000 likes. And yeah, and if you haven't downloaded the Avli app, be sure to do that as well. All right, getting back to, and also in the description, there are links to shirts for every single F1 driver. And they're a lot cheaper than the official F1 merch. So if you do want to check that out, then that is there. All right, back to the race now. So Stroll once again trying to overtake Russell with DRS going down the back straight. Again, not being able to do anything. And the issue is here, if we look at the top speed difference between the two drivers, so Russell, by the looks of it, has more downforce compared to Stroll. Yet, I mean, Russell has a slower top speed compared to Stroll, but Stroll is still not being able to overtake him, and that's the issue here. And we'll wait and see if maybe next year we get better racing, you know. All right, we have team radio from Fernando Alonso. I'm going to play that. Here we go.
Anything to worry?
Nothing to worry at this stage. All good.
Tires stabilized, I guess.
Yep, tyres are stabilised. Front left went up a little bit the last few laps, but is stable now. Okay, so just looking ahead, you might be managing, but Sainz 1 second a lap slower than you. Gap is 8 seconds. And we still got 13 laps to go.
Okay, interesting.
Alonso is just having a nice conversation with his engineer about the race. So Alonso will now try and chase down Carlos Sainz. His team engineer was correct. Fernando Alonso is 1 second quicker than Carlos Sainz every lap. So Alonso will catch up to Sainz in a matter of 3 laps now. And we'll see if Alonso can make an overtake. And in fact, Carlos Sainz's hero is Fernando Alonso. So that'll be kind of funny. Carlos Sainz's hero overtakes him on track, which is kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. In fact, talking about Carlos Sainz getting overtaken by Alonso, the gap has gone down to 1.2 seconds. Oh, it's down to 0.8 of a second now. So it's getting closer and closer for the guys at the front here. And yeah. So Alonso is getting closer and closer. We'll see if he can. He has DRS as well, going down the start-finish straight. Can he make a move stick on... where's he gone? Oh my god, I've just lost Alonso. Where's he? Oh, on the straight. Okay. He doesn't make a move stick just yet, but he does have DRS. We'll wait and see if he can make it stick. Sergio Perez has actually caught up to Lando Norris as well. 0.8 is the gap between those two drivers. We'll see if Perez can overtake Norris. That will be a very good recovery drive for Perez, regardless of the fact that he'll only get 2 points. Going from pit lane to P8 in on the rate, like at Zandvoort, is absolutely crazy. Yeah. And Stroll is still stuck behind Russell, so Stroll's tyres will start overheating very, very soon. And just as we were talking about the battle between Alonso and Sainz, here we are, 6 tenths is the gap between Alonso and Sainz. Alonso will definitely have DRS going down the back straight, and I think Alonso, what he'll do, he'll decide to set up the move, make Sainz take a compromised line into turn number 8, and then try and get a better exit onto the start-finish straight. So here we go. He has DRS, and he is gaining down the straight. He is tucked into the slipstream. Sainz takes the usual racing line, so Alonso isn't close enough to make Sainz go defensive. Into the second to last corner, with a lot of banking, we can once again see all of the sparks flying. And in the slipstream now, Alonso 7 tenths behind him, has a better exit, has the DRS, has the slipstream, but will he be able to make the overtake on Carlos Sainz? No, the straight is, well, actually, he's 2 tenths, 3 tenths, nope. He decides to back out of the move because it would be just way too risky, considering that he already has P7 and a good points. It would be too risky to go for a move there. He tries to go for a move into turn 3, but he does not, is not successful. And Tsunoda and Mazepin have both retired because of issues with their cars. And yeah. And all right, so highest top speed is Antonio Giovinazzi. He is he's going very, very well before he got that puncher. So we'll watch out. We'll see if anyone else gets any punches. We have team radio from Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, so I will play both of them. And yeah, here we go.
Gap at 3.8. 3.8.
Is he complaining about something or what?
I think his tyres are done.
Yep, so Max Verstappen has just been told Lewis Hamilton's tyres are done. We have Carlos Sainz team radio. I'm going to play that. Here we go.
What the hell is Bottas doing? I let him by and he doesn't want to go.
Yep, so Carlos Sainz is getting stuck letting Bottas go by, and this is what it is now. Sainz-Alonso battle, 6 tenths is a second, 7 laps remaining now. Can Fernando Alonso make an overtake stick on Carlos Sainz? Also, we're only 7 likes away from hitting 1,000 likes, so if we could do that, that would be very cool. And we're actually quite close to hitting, if all of you guys subscribe, we could hit 8.5k subs, which would be also very epic indeed. So yeah, if you haven't done so, be sure to do that and download the Avli app as well. All right, getting back to the race, Perez has successfully overtaken Norris just now. It was a very good move from him. I mean, Perez has been managing those tyres so well for the entire race. Finally pits on soft tyres, has a pace advantage over everyone else. And yeah, solid move from him. Now he has to chase down Esteban Ocon with 3 seconds is the gap from him to Esteban Ocon. And maybe there is a chance. 6 laps remaining. Perez on soft, Esteban Ocon on mediums. Perez could get up into P8. It would be an epic recovery drive, and I think he definitely does deserve driver of the day for sure. Yeah. Checo, seriously. Well, I think Checo's done an amazing drive. I mean, going from P20 to P8 is just amazing. Verstappen's tyres will also be looking rather bad. 26 laps around Zandvoort with all of the banking takes a toll on anyone's tyres, really. But Hamilton's tyres are looking worse than Verstappen's. Hamilton's gaining a slight amount of time, in fact. By the looks of it, Verstappen might have made a little bit of a mistake going into the third sector. I think, oh no, it was a mistake in the second sector, sorry, from Max Verstappen. But the gap has come down to 2.7 seconds. Verstappen has hit some traffic as well. Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll, George Russell, all holding up Max Verstappen. Maybe this is the last chance Lewis Hamilton has the chance. This is the last chance Lewis Hamilton has to overtake Max Verstappen because he's currently being held up in traffic. But the traffic has been blue flagged and successfully let Verstappen by without causing any damage or anything. So by the looks of it, that has been it. 5 laps remaining now. 3 seconds is the gap between Verstappen and Hamilton. What an epic drive indeed. Can I talk about Danny Rick? Well, Danny Rick, I would talk about him. He's been he's been overtaken by Lando because of team orders. And then he's sort of just been running his own race, really. He's the car. Russell is 20 seconds behind him, and Norris is 10 seconds ahead of him, so Ricciardo really has nothing to do except just drive the car, and no sort of overtaking to be seen. Next is Valtteri Bottas. He comes in, he pits, and he will come out with soft tyres. And by the looks of it, guys, the only drivers on the lead lap are Verstappen, Hamilton, and Bottas. Everyone else has been lapped once, twice, or 3 times. Valtteri Bottas comes out on soft tyres. He will go get fastest lap of the race. And yeah, so Verstappen now has George Russell as traffic, and then after that he will get to the end of the race with just a clear track ahead of him. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Yeah. All right, so. Is there anything else to talk about? Yeah, Alonso hasn't been able to overtake Sainz. Alonso has the medium tyres, Sainz has the hard tyres, and 35 laps in, by the looks of it, the hard tyres are quicker than the mediums, and Alonso is struggling to overtake him, especially with all of the tight, twisty, dirty air. Tight, twisty corners, the dirty air is very much not helping. He goes down the straight again, 2/10 is the gap between the two drivers, and still he's too far away to make a move into turn 1. And this has basically been the cycle of the entire the last 5 laps for Fernando Alonso. He's just been gradually getting closer and closer, and then on the straight he's just not close enough. It's so close yet so far for Fernando Alonso. But that is what it is, and hopefully next year the new 2022 cars will solve that problem, and we will get absolutely amazing racing. So Valtteri Bottas sets the fastest third sector, and he will probably take the fastest lap away from Lewis Hamilton. But yeah, after this, if the standings stay like this, Verstappen will have a 5-lap. Will have what will it be? He will have a 5-point advantage over Lewis Hamilton in the championship. So yeah, there is that. Also, guys, the post-race show will start basically immediately when the race finishes. So currently, it'll go live on Avli in like 3 minutes' time when the race does finish. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you guys because yeah, looking forward to this. There are 3 laps remaining. Valtteri Bottas is well, he's just flying, to be completely honest. He's on purple first and second sector, and yeah, just good job from him and doing well. Not much else really. So yeah. All right, he does set the fastest lap of the race. And yeah, just a very epic drive indeed from him. He gets the fastest lap away from Lewis Hamilton, and there are 2/10. There are. Wait, what was I going to say? Oh my god, I forgot. Sergio Perez has caught up to Esteban Ocon, so Sergio Perez on the soft tyres is quicker than Esteban Ocon on the mediums. And we'll see if he can pit and get ahead of him. Oh, in fact, Hamilton also pits. So Hamilton is trying to take the fastest lap away from Valtteri Bottas. That was a bit of a weird strategy from Mercedes to do that, to pit Bottas and also pit Hamilton. So by the looks of it, if Verstappen doesn't make a mistake or crash into a wall, Verstappen will have the lead of this race, guys. Yeah, he will have the lead of this race. It will be... will have the win as well of this race. So just 2 laps left to go. I will play the Supermax as well. And yeah, the Orange Army will be going indeed very crazy indeed. And Alonso once again is trying to overtake Carlos Sainz and still not close enough. Yeah, just getting within 2/10 and then just not falling out, and not being able to overtake him, So that's been what it is. It is lap 70, lap 70 of 72, and it's looking good for the two, looking good, really, for Max Verstappen to win his first ever home Grand Prix. I don't have to sing Supermax, but I'll play Supermax for you guys because I know you guys do like it. And I will also set up the post-race show, guys. So if you guys haven't downloaded the Avli app, be sure to do it because I will be going live on it in 1 lap's time. Yeah, thanks to the Mercedes master plan, this is what's happening, So Max Verstappen on his final lap, I think. Now going into turn 6, just a dab of the brake, flick it into the corner. If you haven't voted drive of the day, do vote Sergio Perez. Well, at least I think you should vote Sergio Perez because amazing drive from him. And yeah, if you guys haven't subscribed or liked, be sure to do that. Very much will help out the stream and the channel. There are links to the shirts in the description for like all of every single driver, and they're all cheaper than the official F1 merch, so do check that out. And here we go now. Max Verstappen coming through the second to last corner to cross the line to win his home Grand Prix. Absolutely epic from him. So I'm going to play the Supermax music, and I will... well, let's just wait for Max Verstappen to cross the line. Take it in, guys. Max Verstappen, the Orange Army goes crazy. There's going to be a literal dust storm of all of the orange smoke at the circuit. Verstappen wins, and yeah, what a drive. I'm going to play Supermax now. Here we go. All right, guys. So that has been it. That has been the race. Amazing drive from Max Verstappen. Yeah, just absolutely amazing drive, to be completely honest with you guys. And yeah, let's settle in for the post-race show. So the link is in the description for the post-race show. I will get this. I will actually load it up so you guys can see what's going on the post-race show if you haven't got an iPhone. And yeah, so here we go. Stop mirroring. And all right, so this is the app, the Avli app, and it is in the description, so be sure to download that. And yeah, all right, so here we go. If you guys haven't downloaded it, be sure to do that, and I will be going live on it in seconds. I don't know why it's glitching out like this. Yeah, that's a bit weird. All right, so that's been that, really. Thank you for the stream. If you guys do want to join the post-race show, it is live on this app, so be sure to download that, and it will very much help out the channel. And yeah, so let's just zoom in here. All right, so that's been it. Yeah, do appreciate all the support, guys. I will let you know. All right, we have some raised hands in the chat. So we have James Max Verstappen 33. So we will go live for this show. Yeah, be sure to download the app, and I will see you in the studio. Here we go. So welcome to the post-race show, guys, of the Dutch Grand Prix. It's been a very exciting race, to be honest. All of the strategy that Mercedes could throw at Max Verstappen, they have thrown at him, but Max Verstappen has risen to the challenge and took the win at his home Grand Prix. Absolutely amazing drive from him. And we have, well, we have James Max Verstappen 33 on here to talk with us. So yeah, let's invite him. Oops.
Hear me?
Hello. So what do you think of the race?
I think that was a really exciting race. I've been watching basically the whole race, and I was hoping for Max Verstappen to win, and Hamilton was pretty close behind basically the whole time. It was quite close, and I think it's really good how Verstappen managed to stay ahead despite Mercedes' strategy and things, and I think, well, yeah, I think it was a great drive from Max Verstappen, and I think that's the first home Grand Prix win for a Dutch driver, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's the first Dutch driver to win the Dutch Grand Prix, because Jos Verstappen, Max Verstappen's dad, didn't win it. So yeah, who do you think was driver of the day?
For me, it's got to be Perez, because he started from the pit lane and he got P7, was it? P7?
Yeah, he got P8.
P8.
Very good.
Still, for a pit lane start, that's a really good race for me, especially around Zandvoort.
Yeah. Do you think that we should have this circuit, or do you think the race was a bit boring?
I think it's a good circuit to have on now, because even though it is narrow and hard for overtakes, I mean, it's like you could kind of compare it to Monaco, where it's like less overtaking, but it's still an exciting race because of strategy and things like that. And I think, and it makes quali quite exciting as well because that's really important for the race. If you qualify well, you're most likely going to win if you get pole.
Yeah, that is very true because quite a lot of people don't watch qualifying, and now they do because of the importance of it. Well, do you think what else did you like about the race? Did you think anyone else should have got driver of the day maybe?
I think Kubica. I have to say Kubica did a good job staying. He only managed to compete in quali in AP3, and it was quite a sudden substitution because of Kimi's COVID test. But I think there are a few other good drives there. Norris got the points after a disappointing qualifying session. And I think Gasly did quite well to hold on to where he qualified as well with the faster cars behind him. And yeah, that was else to say.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. Do you want to stay on and just carry on talking, or you?
I haven't really got much else to say, to be honest. So I think
All right.
if someone else wants to talk, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. That's cool. Well, thank you for coming on. And yeah, do appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you.
So talking about the rest of the race, guys, we have Valtteri Bottas who got pitted by by Mercedes, and they had decided to use him as a sort of moving chicane, and he had sort of got his race compromised by that wayward strategy from Mercedes, and yeah, who knows really what he could have done if Mercedes had decided to prioritize him compared to Lewis Hamilton. Also, if anyone else has joined, if you press the blue button in the middle of your screen, that will let you talk. So if you press that button, I can let you talk. And yeah, looking at the rest of the race, I think what Mazepin did at the start of the race was was rather unclean of him. He sort of drove into Mick and just didn't let him drive. I mean, sort of blocked him off on the opening lap. Well, so he had to pit for a front wing, of course, and that really helped. That didn't help Mick's race because Mick was the second driver that got. He was the only driver that got lapped 3 times, which is not very good, to be completely honest. Nikita Mazespin did retire because of mechanical issues, but yeah. So if you want to talk about Perez's performance, it was kind of a complete underdog. We didn't see him for most of the race. He wasn't on the TV feed. He was just slowly picking his way through. He overtook Mazepin, overtook Tsunoda, overtook all of the drivers successfully, and made it all the way up into P8 from the pit lane on a circuit where you can't overtake is very, very good indeed. And yeah, I can't. Right. Let's see if we can switch camera. It won't let me switch camera. All right. So there are 1,200 of you still watching. So if you guys haven't downloaded the app, be sure to do so. It will, and then you guys can talk. So yeah, we've got a few people on now, but we can probably get a lot more as well. So yeah, talking about Vettel and Stroll, the Aston Martin car wasn't that strong all weekend round. If we're being completely honest, Vettel wasn't that optimistic about pace for the whole race. Pace, that kind of rhymed, but their pace wasn't strong. Vettel had a spin as well, which didn't help his cause, and yeah. So let's see, is there anything else to talk about? Pierre Gasly, what a drive from him. He had the best tire management out of the entire out of all 20 drivers. He was just performing so well compared to everyone else. He is in AlphaTauri, of course, which should be at the back of the field if we're looking at Yuki Tsunoda's performances. And then he has just picked his battles perfectly, had an amazing qualifying yesterday, hooked up a lap, and then just progressed his way through higher and higher up and through the field, and stayed in P4 for the entire race. And Charles Leclerc couldn't catch him. And even though even though Gasly was on mediums and Charles Leclerc was on hards, Gasly still stayed up and was quicker compared to everyone else, you know? And yeah, that was the thing. All right, so next driver was Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso finally made the overtake on Carlos Sainz. I didn't even notice, but I think it was on the final lap. Alonso made the move on Sainz, which was very, very cool. The Alpine was looking strong this weekend, and Alonso was just driving very, very well indeed. So, yeah. So all of you guys in the YouTube chat, the app is called Avli. It's on the App Store, AVLI. And yeah, just go ahead and download it, and you guys can join the stream and talk to me if you want. So there is a blue button. If you press that, then you guys can join, and like if you raise your hand, and then I can invite you to talk, which is very cool. And yeah. So looking at the rest of the standings, we have Robert Kubica. He stepped in for Kimi Raikkonen in FP3. Obviously, Kimi Raikkonen couldn't... had got COVID, and then Robert Kubica used all of his experience in racing and just put in a very solid drive, getting 15th place in the Alfa Romeo that he hadn't driven all season. In fact, I think the most he'd done was one practice session might have been one of the earlier races, but other than that, he's just been a test driver, and solid drive from Robert Kubica. And yeah, Max can get... Max has... I mean, if we just want to talk about Max Verstappen, his drive all weekend has been absolutely amazing. In qualifying yesterday, he had a DRS issue, couldn't enable DRS, and still got pole position compared to Lewis Hamilton. That was just absolutely epic from him. And all race, he managed it. So if we talk about the first pit stop, Mercedes decided to go for the undercut, and Hamilton was actually very, very close to overtaking and getting within DRS range of Max Verstappen. But Max Verstappen just kept on putting in consistent laps with minimal mistakes, and that was it, really. Max Verstappen just dominated from start to finish. He got pole position, he got the race win. Unfortunately, he didn't get a fastest lap, otherwise that would have been a grand slam, but... solid drive from Max Verstappen. I definitely think he has a chance of winning this championship. Yeah. Also, guys, if you have joined, then there are other features such as you can just do like thumbs up and random emotes. So that is also very cool. And yeah. All right, so if we are to talk about the McLarens, they have been strong all season round, and this weekend they have just dropped off. They had no pace whatsoever. Even Lando Norris couldn't get close to Esteban Ocon. It's just not the usual McLaren that we're used to seeing, to be honest. He is... I just need to move this mic. All right. Lando Norris has had a string of bad luck all weekend round. I mean, all for the past 3 weekends and this weekend. So that's not been helping him. And then Danny Rick has not been able to adapt to this car very well. So that's the issue, you know? And the McLarens, they might actually lose the Constructors' Championship to Ferrari in 3rd place. Thank you, Margaret Pang, for the like nice comments. Do appreciate it. And yeah. Okay, so if we wanted to talk about Mick Schumacher, obviously his race was completely set back by the incident at the start of the race with Nikita Mazepin. He got his front wing damaged, had to go pit, and then he started out on the softs, went on to the hards, and then went out onto the mediums again. Wasn't an ideal race strategy whatsoever. The Haas car, they've decided not to do any sort of improvements on it this year. So, yeah. Well, Rickus, if you have got the Avli app, then be sure to raise your hand. If you press the blue button, then it should allow you to, you'll get invited, and then you can talk live on stream. So that'd be very cool, because you've been a fan for a long time, and I'd like to talk to you, you know? Is there any chance of Seb scoring points? No. I mean, the Aston Martin car, as I said about before, Aston Martin have not been performing that well. recently. They had a good few races at the start, but other than that, not much. And yeah. Okay. Now talk about the Ferraris. Both Leclerc and Sainz have been actually performing so well together. Obviously in 2020 we had Seb and Leclerc. That wasn't the best combination. There was drivers crashing into each other, and of course just Vettel not having the performance all year round, having the worst season on record, in fact. So Sainz was a new fresh bit of fresh air for Ferrari, and he has just put in an absolutely solid drive all year round, and this weekend as well. Did unfortunately get overtaken by Alonso on the final lap of the race, but other than that, he's been amazing this weekend and for every other weekend, in fact. So yeah, can you show us the images and videos from the stands? I want the fans' reaction. Yeah, unfortunately, I think there might be a bit of a glitch on this app that no one can raise their hand, I think. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. But yeah. Who is going to be driver of the day? I think it is Sergio Perez who's been driver of the day. Why is Bottas so far behind Hamilton? Both Bottas and Hamilton pitted at the end of the race to get fastest lap, and then yeah. So that's why they're both so far behind, and Bottas is far behind because he had a compromised strategy compared to Lewis. They preferred Lewis, gave Lewis the best strategy possible, and then of course Bottas didn't have any sort of help from the Mercedes garage to get a good strat. So yeah, that's been that really. If you guys are from the fans, so Tim or James, if you do want to talk again, then just be sure to press the blue button in the center of your screen, and that will raise your hand, and you guys can come on to talk. All right. So yeah, Bottas went for fastest lap, and he didn't even get it. So Lewis just outdid Bottas's fastest lap. Bottas will probably lose his seat for Mercedes. That's probably another interesting talking point as well. Russell, his amazing qualifying last weekend. And then he has not been able to do the same thing, but obviously it's not in the wet, so you know, it's fair enough from George Russell's point of view, and I think there might be a deal. Toto Wolff said Williams are going to have to find another driver for next year. He said something along those lines, so we may get George Russell in the Mercedes next year, which will be very interesting to watch. The new up and coming George Russell versus the world champion, 7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton. And all right, so talking about Giovinazzi, and can I do MotoGP as well? Unfortunately, I don't know anything about MotoGP, so that's what it is. Bottas slowed down in the last sector after team orders. That is true, yeah. I think he did get team orders, so that's the issue down at Mercedes. Bottas isn't allowed to succeed, so that might be part of the reason why he isn't succeeding. So talking about the Alfa Romeos, Giovinazzi and Kubica. We've already said Kubica did an amazing drive and sort of just managed the race properly with the little experience that he had in that car. Giovinazzi qualified P7, and unfortunately he lost positions at the start of the race, which is very unlike Antonio Giovinazzi because he is well known for getting lots of positions on the opening lap. In 2020 he gained a position on every single start of the race. So yeah. And all right, next driver, Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon, obviously he won his race in Hungary, and then after that hasn't been able to match the same heights that he did in Hungary. Fernando Alonso has been able to push the Alpine car up into P6 and score some solid points. P9 for Ocon, that's only 2 points, not going to help out the Alpine team that much. And yeah, so is there any chance for Callum Ilott, Hulkenberg, or Albon for next year? So that's actually a rather interesting topic, because we have news that Kimi Raikkonen is leaving the sport. So there'll have to be a seat to replace Kimi Raikkonen at Alfa Romeo. And then there's also a chance that there'll be a seat at Williams if George Russell goes to Mercedes. So Callum Ilott is the reserve driver for Alfa Romeo. So there is definitely a very good chance for Callum Ilott to get that seat. Because he has been testing for Alfa Romeo for quite a while. He's done the young drivers test with Alfa Romeo as well. And there's a good chance that he can get it. And then talking about the Williams seat, I think Alex Albon definitely has potential. He's been doing very well in DTM. He got pole position, I think, last week, and also won the race as well. So Alex Albon has been performing well, and he could definitely get the Williams seat. Is this app on Android as well? Unfortunately, the app isn't on Android, not yet at least. It will be released later on, but currently it isn't on Android. And yeah. The fan experience attending last week versus the fan attendance this week, yeah. Well, the fans were very, very good indeed from... the fans this week were very good. From the Orange Army, of course. We've got Dr. Football to talk. All right, so let's invite him on.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hi. Sorry, I wasn't sure. So, Bottas is leaving Mercedes, presumably, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And so, is this location? Is it confirmed where he's going, or?
No, they haven't confirmed anything. There were rumors that Bottas is going to Alpha.
Okay.
But
I'm taking the main seat there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. How is it, do you know, with the, like in the football world, it's always talking about, there's a big discussion around wages, and footballers are moving between clubs because they will get, an increase in pay by switching teams. And I was wondering, do you know how the wage structure is in these Formula teams? Like, so Bottas is number 2 at Mercedes. Do you think he will get like a wage increase for being number 1 at Alfa Romeo, or what's your opinion on this?
Well, the budget cap is coming in next year, so the budget cap will be limiting how much the teams can spend, of course. And okay. Alfa Romeo obviously has a smaller budget than Mercedes. Mercedes is the biggest team in Formula 1, so they're going to pay the drivers more no matter what. But the number 1 driver always gets more money than the number 2 driver. And it's just that the smaller the team, the less money you'll get, really. It's not... it doesn't depend that much on sort of like... Actually, I don't know what I was going to say. Yeah, sorry. I just forgot.
So it probably, it's clear, right? Like the bigger the team, the bigger the sponsorship deals, the more money and the more attention these drivers get, and therefore the more they get paid. I would think so, at least. But with the budget, with the budgets next year, is it so? It's both. Is it just the overall budget, or is it split between wages and then how much you can spend on developing the car, or do you know anything about that?
I think it's the complete overall. So I think they're reducing it to 140 million that they can spend each team. And that means Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, and McLaren probably will have to cut the amount of spending they have on the entire on their entire team. So they'll have to maybe drop the pays for some people, or like just not like fire some people, I guess.
Right. Okay. Thanks a lot for answering this. Looking forward to the race.
All right. Yeah. See ya.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So we've got a few more people that have joined the session. So if you guys, there's a middle in the middle of your screen. There's a blue button, which has got a little. Oh my god. So on the middle of the screen, there's a blue button that has got... Oops. Yeah, so quite a lot of people have joined. So in the middle of your screen, there's a blue button. And if you press that, then you can raise your hand and you guys can come on to talk. And yeah, so we're going to probably talk about Yuki Tsunoda because for the past half season now, he had an amazing entry into Formula One, of course. At Bahrain, he was performing so well and very, very strong indeed from the entire of his team. All of the team was saying he's a very quick driver, and his performance in qualifying in Bahrain and his race as well was epic. But after Bahrain, he's been slowly falling off and off, and yeah, that's kind of the issue with Yuki Tsunoda. We had some reports from his team saying that he was very arrogant and in the first week or so after Bahrain, but then after that, we got other reports saying that Yuki Tsunoda started becoming very hardworking. I think that's very important in all aspects of life, to be honest. Yuki Tsunoda realized he wasn't the best. Of course, the best right now probably Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Yuki Tsunoda started to put in some extra hard work, going back to the factory, and his performances have consistently started improving, but he's nowhere near Pierre Gasly, and we don't know if he's going to stay in this seat for 2022, sorry, because as we all know, the Red Bull, like the Red Bull team structure, they all just want to drop the drivers as soon as possible because that's just how Red Bull roll, and that's what they're doing. They might drop Yuki Tsunoda and then maybe pick up Vips for the new Alfa Romeo seat, or maybe they might get Alex Albon back because Alex Albon is still under the Red Bull contract, and yeah. So that's been that with Yuki Tsunoda. I think he could stay in Formula 1, but he'll need to do some more standout performances if he wants to stay there. And that's been the main issue with Yuki Tsunoda. Next, going on to Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc has been Ferrari's main man for like the last 2 years now. He has been just solid. He's got a 4-year contract, which is the longest contract ever given to a Ferrari driver. So Ferrari obviously have a lot of faith in him, and yeah. And he's been giving that faith, like he's been treating them properly, really, with all of his solid performances. Up in P5 again. I think he's currently outscoring Carlos Sainz in the Drivers' Championship. It was a solid drive from him today, and as we all know, he stays very hardworking, and we all know the memes of Charles Leclerc. He is "I am stupid" and all of that kind of stuff, but you know, he's actually done a very, very good job for the entirety of this season. So yeah. Oh, Tom's mum has invited us. Oops. Oh, all right. So you've put your hand down again. If you do want to talk, then press the blue button and your hand will be raised and I can invite you on. And yeah. All right. So talking about the next driver. Well, talking about the team as a whole. If we talk about the entire Alpine team as a whole, we don't exactly know the future of Alpines in Formula 1 because they are the only remaining manufacturer that make their own engines. Everyone else uses either Honda, Ferrari or Mercedes engines, and Alpine make their own engines, and that is a very big cost to their budget. They simply just cannot carry on doing that and spending so much money because Alpine, obviously, before they were sponsored by Renault, and they had a decent amount of cash flowing in, but now that Alpine, a private team, it's going to be difficult for them to stay in Formula 1 and still keep on using Renault engines, or Alpine engines, as they would call them. And maybe with the cost cap coming in, we could see Audi or Porsche also joining Formula 1. They expressed interest before, but they also said the costs were too high, so the cost cap is coming in. Maybe that could help with it. And yeah. All right. Will Mick go to Alpha first and then Ferrari? I think by the looks of it, Mick will probably go to Alpha first. If Giovinazzi gets fired, I think Mick Schumacher will be the next driver to step up, because at Ferrari they've got 2 young drivers and they don't want to take any of them out. To be honest, yeah, because they're both performing very well. They've got a good dynamic between each other. No one hates the other driver, and they're performing and they're pushing each other to the limits. So Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz looks like a Ferrari combo to be staying there for a while now. So Mick will have to wait for his turn, I guess, as you do for all things. And he will probably go to Alfa Romeo if Giovinazzi does lose his seat. And yeah. Do you think Perez would have got P5 without the lock-up with Mazepin and the extra pit stop? I think Perez could... I think it would have been difficult. He was quite close behind Sainz. He was only 5/10 behind Sainz, so he could have definitely got 7th. But getting up to P6, P5 would have been way too difficult because 28 seconds is the gap. So, yeah, don't think that would have happened. Multi Ninja, if you're just joining, this is the Avli app. It's on the App Store now, so you guys can download it and come on live stream, like come live on the stream. And yeah, if you press the blue button in the middle, guys, you can also volunteer to talk. Next year's cost cap will bother the top dogs, of course, because they usually spend 3 times more than the usual budget cap. And if they're spending more than 3 times more of the budget cap, then their performance is going to be significantly limited. And I think Aston Martin definitely have a very good chance, because back from 2014 when they were called Force India, these guys had the smallest budget in Formula 1 and they were consistently scoring podiums and scoring lots of good points. This is Force India, and now Force India has turned into Racing Point, and the Racing Point obviously into Aston Martin. So the same people who know how to extract a lot of performance out of a small amount of money have now been given a lot of money from Lawrence Stroll, the owner of Aston Martin, or owner of a share of Aston Martin. So if Aston Martin, I definitely do think next year they will have a very strong performance indeed, especially with Vettel developing the car. He has a very good chance to boost the performance, and maybe we could see Seb Vettel battling out for the championship, you know, next year. That would be very interesting indeed to see. And there are only 3 drivers on the lead lap, and that is because the lap is only 1 minute and 18 seconds long. So yeah. So the app is only 1 minute and 18 seconds long on full fuel loads. So full fuel loads isn't going to help. I mean, such short lap times isn't going to help with people getting lapped, and that's probably why we have Mick Schumacher and George Russell getting lapped 3 times this race, you know? I don't think that ever has really happened. Who won? Max Verstappen won the race, of course. And yeah, 3 times, not 31, 3. Mazepin got lapped 31 times because he retired halfway through the race. So yeah, he technically got lapped 31 times, but he did retire. So there is that. And yeah. Alright guys, is there any chance of any F2 drivers in Formula 1 next year? Well, I think Callum Ilott and Marcus Armstrong, they definitely have a chance, because the Alpha seats are opening up, so they could have a chance, but we don't know. There's been no news from Frederick Vasseur or any of the Alpha team about it, so yeah. All right, we will do a poll. We'll do a poll. Should Perez have got driver of the day? Have got driver of the day. Oops. Yes. And no. All right. And then start poll. All right, cool. So, looking at the rest of the championship, Max Verstappen now has the lead of the championship compared to Lewis Hamilton by 5 laps. Not 5 laps, 5 points. Sorry, and he he'll be happy about that, of course, because no one wants to be behind in the championship. And will Alonso stay in Formula One or will he leave? Well, he has a contract with Alpine until next year, so that is definitely that's definitely means he'll stay next year at least. And if next year there is very good racing, I think all of the drivers will want to stay in Formula One, because these are the drivers at the top of their sport, and they have a massive passion for racing. And with all of this driving, I mean, if you have amazing racing, you will attract the best drivers in the world, and we already have the best drivers in the world. So amazing racing is not going to let Alonso leave. And even if he is, well, Kimi Raikkonen was racing till he was 42. So Alonso still has some time till he is 42, and he could definitely get it. So yeah. Verstappen did win, and he did win by 20 seconds. That is because Lewis Hamilton did pit, but nevertheless, 20 seconds is a massive margin, and he still would have won the race, nevertheless, if Hamilton didn't pit. So yeah, very good job from him. Okay, let's see what else is there to talk about. Who have I not talked about yet? Well, Valtteri Bottas, where is he going to go next year? That is a rather big question, because he, by the looks of it, is going to get dropped by Mercedes. And if he does get dropped, then no one has any idea where he's going. There were rumours he's going to Alpha, but all the rumours have stopped just of now. So, yeah, that has been that, really. Alpha haven't announced anything about Bottas, and Bottas probably is either going back to Williams, or maybe just even is forced to retire because he has no seat in Formula One, yeah. So I think that's been around about 30 minutes of the post-race show. It's been a pleasure talking to all you guys on YouTube and on the app. If you haven't checked the app out, it is in the description and the pinned chat message. So be sure to download it, and you can come on live next week, because I'm also live for the Italian Grand Prix and the Russian Grand Prix on this app. So be sure to do that. And yeah, I cannot believe this. The only podium paces. Yep, only the top 3 drivers weren't lapped. Everyone else was lapped. And that's what happens when you have a short circuit and a dominant Max Verstappen, So yeah, that has been that. But an amazing Dutch Grand Prix. Max Verstappen takes the win. The Orange Army is definitely going crazy right now. And yeah, just an epic race. Max Verstappen got everything thrown at him by the Mercedes team, and he conquered the challenge. So that's been it. Thank you guys for listening and watching the stream. And I will see you guys in Italy next week. Yeah. Cheers, fellas. Yeah, thanks, Rickus. Yeah, have a nice morning, day, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, I will see you guys. I'll see you guys next week for Imola. It's a pleasure, though. I just joined. Well, yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, the stream has come to an end, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world, and I'll see you next week. Cheers, fellas. End stream. There we go.